today is National Banana Cream Pie Day.
National Banana Cream Pie. Wasn't last week National Banana Bread Day?
I like bananas. Shut up.
Are you making these days up, or are you in charge of the calendar?
No, apparently Dole is.
Chiquita's in charge of the national calendar. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room. It is Tuesday, April 27th, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you. And with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
I got to look up the lyrics of the song. Is it syrup dripping from what? Oh,
I'll have to ask Harry tomorrow night.
Yeah, ask him that one for me.
I'll ask Harry tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. What's going on tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night is the sports podcast.
Sports podcast.
Yeah, so
is that all that's going on tomorrow?
I don't know. Is anything else going on tomorrow night? I can't think of anything.
Well, it's April 28th, which means it's Jersey Johnny's birthday tomorrow. So
yes, it is my birthday. I'm going to have a piece of birthday cake here, right?
Yeah, there we go. That's
I never eat on the show. Only you do. That's your
I'm eating wheat thins today. Oh, sorry. Product placement. We get nothing for that. So what kind of cake you got?
This is carrot cake.
Fit for a king.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually National King's Day.
It is National King's Day.
It is National King's Day, also known as Koningsdag.
Happy King's Day.
Koningsdag in Holland, also known as the Netherlands, the official name, I guess.
Holland, Netherlands, yeah.
Something like that. So in honor of King's Day.
Dutchland, not Deutschland, Dutchland.
Yes, the land of tulips. So in honor of
land of tulips, yes.
Tulips. Yeah. And I'm going to put my tulips around this. I don't know if I want to do this, but it is a Dutch beer.
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, Samurai's first beer.
I am grabbing
Heineken 5% Euro Lager, and I took the
word. You took the middle word out of there.
I took the middle word out
because it's officially not a Euro piss lager.
Right. Well, we didn't want to.
The good thing is I found it in a can.
We'll never be able to drink Lagunitas again.
Yeah, right. Oh God, heartbreaking. So at any rate, I found it in a can, so that way it's not light struck.
Mm-hmm. I bet you it's still light struck. Yep, I was right.
We're gonna put it over here.
So is it worth the $3 that you spent on that can just to be able to do that gag?
$2.75.
$2.75.
The $2.75 gag right there.
Right,
so that you guys could all watch me spit a beer back into a glass.
It's a decent spit take. I've seen better, but I've seen worse. So it's
decent. Oh no! If you want a spit take, that's a wholly different thing. This is just spitting beer.
I want you to spit all over your computer. That would be horrible. So.
Yeah, because this is a beautiful monitor.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take the scroll off because it's just annoying me.
Yeah, please take that off. Oh my God! Now the aftertaste.
Let's go back to you. You want some of this? You want some of this carrot cake?
Oh, please. There's not enough wheat thins in this box.
Well, should we bring on our guests for today? They're patiently waiting in the green room. Although it looks like I'm in the blue room. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know. You got a blue tint there.
We
can. Why don't we have our producer go back and get our guests?
Wait a minute. Which producer, Matt or Brian?
We have. Well, either or can go get the guests, right?
Brian, would you please get yourself, and Matt, would you please get yourself
out of the green room and onto the street?
Hey guys!
Oh, wait a second! You swapped the order of them.
Here, I'll put them back the right way. There you go.
There you go. We put them in alphabetical order.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show our producers. Today's the Producers Show. We have Mr. Brian Altschul and Matthew Potenski.
So which one of you is Bialy stock?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And which one's Bloom?
It's
Bialy stock on the left and Bloom on the right. There you go.
There we go.
There you
go. So Brian, you've already opened up, so you might as well tell us what you're drinking.
Yeah, what are you drinking there?
Sure. Well, actually, I opened it earlier because I was sharing this one with my wife. It's a pretty sizable bottle. Sherry is definitely not here right now, but she is drinking this beer.
Very nice.
So Riesling Till.
Tilquin.
I was trying to.
Tilquin.
It's not Quinn though. It's
Tilquin.
these till can something like that, right?
Tilquin.
I mean, it's an actual Belgian beer, so.
Right.
Okay,
we need a producer.
We need our producer to look up the pronunciation. Oh, wait a second. They're both right
Hey,
here.
Brian, would you please look up the pronunciation of the beer you're trying to pronounce?
I'm sure it's Tilkin.
It's Tilquin.
I thought it's Tilquin too.
It's like K-I-N in the end.
You don't pronounce the U. It's Tilquin, yeah.
Yeah, Professor Tilquin wrote the Lord of the Rings and all that.
There you go.
Delicious.
That's Tolkien.
Sour beer.
Actually, Tolkien.
Tolkien.
If you're.
Oh, Matt's got a beer going on.
And I'm drinking from a tulip glass also. By the way.
There you go.
He's drinking from a tulip glass. And why would he be drinking from a tulip glass today?
Possibly.
Because it's King's Day. And only kings drink from tulip glasses, apparently.
What are you drinking there, Matt?
What are you drinking, Matt?
So I busted out something a little bit special, and I'm going to toot my own horn a little here. So we just had
the show in front of everybody.
Yeah, we just had the Garden State Homebrewers homebrew competition, and this is the third place winning Trappist Ale. It's a Peter's beer of my own making.
Very nice, very nice,
and not bad when a Peter's beer can stand up to some triples and quads in a category. So
Peter's beer took third, and what was first and second?
A triple was second, and a quad was
third. That's awesome. Good for you.
I was pretty stoked, but that's also why I'm representing. Sorry, wrong side. Representing Dallas Homebrew Club today because we had very few entries, but we did quite well in the comp. So
there were 3 entries.
Yeah,
the competition.
No, we had.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, we had about 10 entries, and I think honestly about 6 or 7 won something. So the percentage was very high. So we did well. It's a comp that the Whales do help co-run, but it's mainly run by New Jersey State Homebrewers, which is the name of their club. They do a great job, and very different this year because of COVID and everything like that.
Sure, absolutely.
So it was normally we all get together and kind of sort beers and drink beers and do all kinds of stuff. And this year we kind of had to have small groups and masks and all kinds of
stuff
like that. But we made it happen, and it was super cool because this was the 3rd year that we did it, and another successful year. So
awesome! And congratulations to you and everybody that was.
And Saturday is National Homebrew Day.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Remember that.
That is correct.
So I did finish my carrot cake. So thank you for and letting me indulge in that. Since you eat all the time on the show, Dave, I figured. I figured there was a little bit left of my cake from that the neighbors did for me over the weekend.
Put this way, you had the better opening, whatever, because you got to eat carrot cake.
I got to eat carrot cake, and you got to eat wheat thins with Heineken.
I like wheat thins.
Not with Heineken.
No, not the Heineken. So I'm going to now that the wheat thins have got all that ick out of my mouth.
Right. What are you
going to pour? I'm pouring an Orville.
You're pouring an Orville.
Yeah. Orval. Love this beer. It's one of that thing just foamed from the
bottle conditioned.
Conditioned.
I forgot you got to be careful with this.
Liz would be happy.
So
and not only bottle conditioned, but it also does have a small amount of Brett in it, so it will re-ferment some sugar in there.
There you go.
Woof, woof, woof. This is going to take a while for me to get to. So, John, why don't you pour yours?
I'm going to pour mine. Well, I'm going to start out with something that I barely drink on the show. Something I barely drink on the show.
Some Source?
A sour. Some Source. Well, ironically, it is a Source, yeah, but it's a sour. And not that they make a lot of sours. The Secret Parking Lot. There you go.
Is there a secret parking lot there?
They need a secret parking lot.
They need a secret
parking lot. Yeah, there you go. And it's actually in a thin, tall 12-ounce can. It's not a 16-ounce can there. So crack this puppy open and pour it. So please talk amongst yourselves while I pour.
Hey guys, how you been?
So I'm wearing my Belgian shirt.
Yep, I like that shirt.
That's a nice shirt.
It's got a bunch of Belgian beers on here.
So you wearing the shirt? You get to point out your best 3 on your shirt
right there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, one's right on my left nipple.
This one's good.
Very nice.
I got this in Bruges when I visited. The only place I've been in Belgium is Bruges.
Bruges.
Nice place to visit, and that's a lot of foam.
Not in my glass.
It's going to take a while to get. This is why this gets poured into a chalice.
I'll wait before I drink it. So, well, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna drink. Cheers, guys.
No, just drink. Cheers.
You can hand it through the screen, my friend.
There you go. All my chalices are packed away.
Oh wow, that's pretty tasty. It's a blackberry and pink guava sweet tart ale. That's what's on the can. So it's pretty tasty.
I'm going to drink some of the foam out of this.
So drink some of the foam. Enjoy the foam. The foam's the best part, right? It's got all nutrients in it.
I thought that was the Lees.
I will definitely wish you.
It is the Lees. I was just being kidding.
Well, Lees.
John, I will definitely wish you a happy birthday.
In beer, it's beer. It's called Trube. In cider, it's called Lees.
Trube. That's so true.
Well, now that you're drinking a little bit, cheers. Happy King's Day.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to John.
John.
Thank you very much.
Also, happy birthday to Gene Lynch, who may or may not be watching it.
Gene's birthday is Thursday.
And happy anniversary to him as well.
Birthday, Gene.
And Lauren.
Lauren is a smart woman, making him marry her on his birthday so he'd never friggin' forget.
Exactly.
Because we know Gene. Smart woman.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So anyway, those are our beers right there. All right, so why don't we start?
I guess she only has to get him one gift that way, so it's kind of smart on her part.
Exactly. Well, is it smart on her part or smart on his part? Do we actually know?
I'm going to just give her the credit. We're probably safe that way.
Yeah, it's safer that way anyway. So
okay,
he would too. If it was him, it would be her. So.
Anybody who's wondering, why these guys are on the show, we refer to them as our producers. We usually air quote producers, because we don't really have. Well, they take the position, but we don't really have a payroll.
Correct.
Per se.
No,
well, I don't think payroll makes it a job or not, right?
This is true.
True.
You do the job whether you get paid or not. It still works. So.
And on any given show, if John and I can't remember something, one of these two guys is normally going to chime in. So we do appreciate what you guys do for us, so we did want to have you on the show for that. And it has nothing to do with the fact that our regularly scheduled guest canceled on us.
No, it does not have anything
it has nothing to do with that whatsoever.
None whatsoever. That is false. That is a lie. I don't know who came up with it, but they should be flogged.
It's crazy that
by Molly.
Matt and I have absolutely nothing going on a Tuesday afternoon.
Well, you know what? I mean, it just works out that way, luckily. So it's all good. It's all good. So why don't we start the show?
Yeah, Matt. Why aren't you? Because Matt. So we keep this. John and I keep this Google Doc, and so we'll put the and I got Italian all of a sudden. We'll put the guest name and then where they're from afterwards, who they represent. Now this is Matt's third time on the show. He's the first person to intentionally be on the show thrice.
Intentionally thrice, yes.
Yeah, Augie was on the show thrice. The third time was a hijacking. But usually when I put Matt's name down next to it is because, and this is a quote from Matt, all the places you want to be.
Right.
Because he's usually out here brewing somewhere, he's usually out there brewing somewhere, or he's behind this bar pouring, or he's behind that bar pouring.
Or he's behind this camera taking pictures of this shark, or he's behind that camera taking pictures of that shark.
Well, there's sharks behind him taking the picture.
Or last night, a moon, right? Well,
So,
not a moon, the moon, right? I don't think it's many more than the only one we have, but I guess you could be taking pictures of a moon on another planet if you had a telescope, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever get
that
to
was a long lunch, so it was. I just decided to go out and take a look off my back porch, and I was like, that looks pretty good. I should probably grab a camera and snap a couple shots of it real quick. So
there you go. I was going to say Brian left already. He was just
I was going to say.
Got up. He says, "Screw this. I'm out of here.
I'm done."
Needed more light. Got to shine off my head here.
You need the rag.
See, that's better without the light. The light is giving me the blue. It's still dark. It's a little darker, but who cares?
Well, it's probably because you're backlit and you're wearing a bright yellow shirt.
Yeah, maybe.
So the warm yellow shirt is making everything else cool.
And it's been a while since we've done a show where the sun's actually out.
This is true. Yeah. It's been getting progressively lighter, but it's also been pretty overcast every time we've done a show. So
so this is like the first show with full sunlight.
There you go. And we're inside drinking beer on the computer.
We have to have something better to talk about.
I know. So let's talk about. You know what? Let's go through some regular guest questions. How about that?
Guest questions.
What first got you guys? Let's start with Brian.
Oh no, we've asked Matt this question already.
I know. That's why I said let's go with Brian.
So Brian, what first got you into brewing?
We first got you into
brewing.
We first got you into craft beer, Brian. We first got you into craft beer. Go back to whenever that was. We don't know. That's why we're asking.
1922.
23, actually. It was 23.
I'm not the oldest person on the show.
No, you're not.
You're not the oldest person.
For a change.
So we goes back to like the early 90s, actually, where I really started like eating a lot better, going out to dinner and having nice.
No more White Castle or hot dogs or any of that.
No more. Not as much junk, right? Yeah. I mean, this is like a few years out of college. Start having some money in the pocket and wanting some better things, and I always liked beer, and then I started saying, there's got to be better beer than what I'm drinking here. So I really started to seek out that better beer, and at that time it was like Samuel Smith's Nut Brown Ale,
sure, Taddy Porter,
yeah, right,
all that stuff, sure,
Oatmeal Stout,
classics,
and Pete's Wicked Ale was pretty easy to find. Sam Adams at some point, was bubbling up at around that time, a couple years later, and I wouldn't go away from macro beer, but I would do my best to not have macro beer, and then come to early 2000s where I said, that's it. I'm only going to drink craft beer, or what we said, craft beer at the time.
Sure.
And
yeah, it was pretty good and pretty tasty back then, but it's like night and day in the last 20 years. So
obviously, it just keeps growing and changing and evolving. But so it really goes back to 10, 15 years after that I said, that's it. I won't have another Budweiser or Miller product or Coors product.
There you go.
There you go. And that's I can't say I haven't had any in that time, but I've had very, very.
I was going to say, if you talk about Budweiser product,
yeah.
That's
right. If they talk about an AV product, I certainly have had AV product.
Yeah.
Right? And I could tell you Bud Light Lime, I think is the worst beer in the world.
I just drank a Heineken.
Yeah. Well, no, I think Bud Light Lime is worse.
Let me ask you this question really quick. Not to keep Matt off of it, but let me ask you this question. I'll ask Matt too. If you had to drink a Coors Light, Bud Light, or Miller Light, one of those three, any one, your choice, but you had to drink one of them, which one would you drink? Silence. Put him on the spot.
I know for me exactly what that is.
I know for me exactly what it is.
Hands down.
Yeah, I know for me.
I would probably, if those were my only three choices.
Probably shoot yourself.
No, actually, I'd probably drink.
See what wine they have.
Gin and tonic, or have a glass of wine.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
But I'd probably actually taste all three.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, these are the only things I could have. Let me take a little taste of each.
For me, it's Miller Lite.
I figured the answer would be Miller Lite.
It's the only one that actually has any flavor to it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not straight up water. It's probably the best American light adjunct lager.
I might actually have Coors Light because I really find it tastes like nothing.
That's true. You go that route too. There you go.
Yeah,
but
just make a glass of water and move on to the next.
Just make sure those mountains are blue before you try it.
Yeah,
as long as it's ice cold, so you're really not getting anything out of it.
No, nothing at all.
Numbing.
Ice water right down, get it done, and move on.
I'm gonna suck these 4 seconds down. You're like, all right, now I'm done with that.
There you go. You gotta love it. All right. So basically, the first craft beer you had, you're talking was Samuel Smith's or Pete's Wicked, somewhere in there. You're not.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's pretty much all of us. I think Dave and I went through it, and they were right up there, but I think we both wound up with a Harpoon.
Harpoon
as well.
IPA was one of my first IPAs. Sam Adams was probably one of my first craft beers. Pete's Wicked was right behind it.
Yeah.
And Black and Voodoo Lager was in there as well.
Sure. Any of them. Matt, I think we've asked you that before.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
because I know you're no older than all of us.
I probably started, a little bit ahead of time before I was actually 21, unfortunately. But
no, none of us did. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I was already, by the time I turned 21, I was already drinking craft beer.
You're already brewing craft beers.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest ones to me was Victory Hop Devil, which I think I talked
Gotcha.
And it was just like, wow, this has like this nice malt backbone, but wow, all those hops and all.
It's a great beer. Yeah.
The really crazy thing was that I used to go to a bar in New Brunswick when I was in college, and we used to get pictures of Hop Devil because they had it on tap, and pictures of Guinness, and I used to make what we called a blackened devil, which was basically it was basically a black IPA before like black IPAs were.
Sure.
I mean, I'm talking this was like 2000.
Oh, so you didn't do any floating or anything like that. You just mixed. You just blended.
Well, I mean, you'd pour the Hop Devil on and then the Guinness on top, and it would sit on top for a little bit, and then it would kind of cascade.
Right.
Just because probably because of the carbonation versus the nitrogen.
Right.
The weight was a little different, but then then you'd swirl it up a little,
right.
And it was, for all intents and purposes, it was like the roasted barley with the hops.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a black IPA.
Which bar was that?
That was McCormick's, which was right down the road from the hospital. And I don't know if they're still open.
I know the small one.
Tiny one.
Yeah, tiny place. Yeah.
Well, the funniest thing was also that, this was back in the day when you could smoke. So you would open the door to McCormick's and this like big square shaped cloud would just come out at your face. And then
I remember the cartoon just straight out.
It was like my last year of college, and they had the smoking ban, and I walked in there and I was like, what the hell? I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this place can't look like this. I've been in here 100 times. I know, like, it was so unrecognizable. It was hilarious.
There's walls.
Yeah. They had a fish tank. I was like, where the hell did that come from? I was like, how did I miss that? It's like,
it's funny. It's
just funny, but yeah.
So if I could say one of the things that, the difference now, right? And this goes to Matt saying, he probably had a few before he was 21, right? My son is 22. He may have tried a few beers before he was 21. Maybe. Also.
We may or may not have witnessed these.
Right.
Sure.
And so he's really been drinking craft beer
for a bit.
Since I've been sharing with him, right?
Yeah.
And now that he is, that he's 22, he's been, going to different breweries and checking things out and drinking mostly craft beer. Although I'm sure he has to mix it in sometime as a college student. Sure. But so he really has had that experience already. So there's a real difference now versus,
wait a second.
30 years ago when I
of course.
Are you sharing the good stuff with him now, or are you still doing the stuff we won't drink you'll give him?
It's a little bit of both.
It's depends. A little bit of both. Yeah.
It depends how many friends he has around.
When he has his friends over and Brian's not drinking, it's the stuff we won't drink. When it's just him and Brian wants to open something good, that's when they share. Right. I get it.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
I will add this too, because anyone who knows me knows that I really, really love Belgian beer.
No.
And one of the first Belgian style beers that I encountered was also in New Brunswick, was that Stuff Your Face, and they would always have Flying Fish Belgian Double.
Sure.
And Blue Moon,
mainly in bottles, I believe, but every now and then I think they had it on tap. But it was, and even once I went to grad school, I was down in Florida. When I would come home for the holidays, I would make it a point to go to Stuff Your Face, and I would always get a Hop Devil and a Belgian, a Flying Fish Belgian Double. That was on my checklist.
You had to get home. You had to do that.
Yeah, I had to go home and make sure I had it two of my favorite beers.
And you had to leave room to go next door to Thomas Sweets afterwards and get a blend in.
Yeah. But also when I was down in Florida, Florida was I hate to say it, a ghost town for craft beer at that point. When I was in 2000. So I was down in Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale area,
Oh, yeah.
Now there's tons of great beer down there.
Sure.
Tons of great beer down there. You got a few that are opening in that area now, but they're a little slower. Of all the major cities, they're a little slower to come around.
I mean,
but
Funky
Miami
Buddha was there, but once you hit Funky Buddha, it was like there really wasn't much else out there at all.
Right.
And this was not the big giant facility that maybe a lot of people have been to. This was like the little brew pub that has, as I like to colloquially call them, the lap dancing couches. They're like the really.
We know what you're talking about.
Really shady, disgusting couches.
I
don't know. Sit down on there.
It's about $20 a half hour, John.
A half hour? Where do you go?
I don't. That's the whole thing. I have no idea what this is.
Geez. Anyway, but on that note, I really quick, not to interrupt the conversation, but I'm done with this.
You're out. You're going to beat me to your second beer?
I'm going to open another beer.
I mean, because this doesn't really count as my second since I spit out the first.
It's really your first, yeah, exactly. I'm wearing the Treehouse shirt, so I'm gonna drink a Treehouse on the fly.
All right.
So
it's
an 8.1% double IPA, brewed by Treehouse Brewing in Charlton, Massachusetts. It's like a combination. They took their very green and their very hazy, and they kind of, the hops from very hazy and the malt bill from very green. Thank you. And put them together.
You can't pour and talk at the same time.
I know I can't. I can't walk and chew gum. I can't do that either. So it doesn't work. So there we go. Take the cursory lager room picture. Here we go.
Well, you definitely can't chew gum and drink beer at the same time.
No, you can't. You definitely cannot do that. I have tried. Only with a Weizenbach though. So
and
it didn't give any weird
pouring and walking can be problematic as well.
Now you see, bubblegum is a flavor profile that you can find in Belgian beer. So you just reuse it.
There you go.
And Germans. Well, I'm not going to let you get too far ahead of me.
You can't. No, I know you got to jump in there. You got to open.
And actually, this is one I didn't tell you I was going to drink.
Oh, so I'm not even going to put it up.
No, there's no way to put it up because I never told you about it. But this is now. If you remember when I was in Rhode Island, I had Smug 4 blocks away from me.
Yes, you did.
I don't have that luxury now, but within about 10 minutes of me, I do have Forest City.
Yes, you do.
And I'm going to drink a lemon sour IPA from them.
Have you visited them?
I've been there a couple of times. Yeah. This is where I got this. Got a couple. Carrie and I went last week, and we picked this up. We picked up the Miseducation of Laurel hops. So PJ would be very interested in that because he loves his Laurel hops. And it's actually quite a good beer. But
you had a couple of beers last week with him with Laurel hops.
Mm-hmm. So
the virtual learning was really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like to try that. I haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah, it was pretty tasty.
It sold out pretty quick, so I don't know if there's any left in the wild, but I'm sure that they'll be remaking that beer. So,
considering I can go up to Glenridge here and still get what was the holiday beer?
The Ice Boat.
Ice Boat. Yeah, they still have some.
Yeah, but that one's good.
Made a much larger batch of Ice Boat than that. So it was only like 10 barrels that we made.
Yeah. Still might be able to get it.
I would definitely go. I mean, I would get if they just have one left, grab it. If they have two, I'd grab them.
Ice Boat or Virtual Learning.
Ice Boat.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely grab
them both.
Yeah, both. I mean, if they have virtual learning,
the Ice Boat, you can just basically put aside on a shelf somewhere.
I'll put it right next to my Anchor Christmas beers.
Yeah, exactly. Get two, have a couple now, drink the rest in the fall. But
and maybe awesome. give one to Johnny if he.
All right, maybe John will want to put this up, but this is one of my favorite Belgian style beers from New Jersey.
Yes,
it is Cape May Devil's Reach.
Cape May Devil's Reach. Yes, that is a good
beer.
Yeah.
You haven't had that? I love it. It's fantastic.
I have not.
It's a good beer.
Yeah. Yes. And the only thing I don't love about it is that when they used to have it in bottles, they used to have a shark jaw on it. Now they changed it. Now they changed it to Kraken. So, a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with the Kraken.
Nothing wrong with a Kraken.
Yeah, but a little bit of detriments for me.
Nothing wrong with a Kraken what?
Nothing wrong with a Kraken. No, I don't know.
If it's in your windshield, I've had a crack in my windshield.
Something wrong with a crack in your windshield, yeah.
Yeah, since I bought my car.
All right, Brian's being a homer. and he's
La Taro.
I've also
Chitaro,
stayed. I've also
Triple.
stayed local with the second one.
Stayed local. Why that brewery, Brian?
It's one of my favorites.
All right,
I would say.
Is it?
There you go. I would imagine.
Seriously,
so.
what is your interest in that brewery?
You know,
How much interest do you have in that?
I like those guys.
Yeah, yeah, they're good guys. I think we had one of them on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And I was saying, I said to him after the show. I was saying to him after the show that I should have drove over to his house and popped up, behind him.
You should have just
camera.
walked up and just popped right up on there. Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe you could have controlled the light a little bit better.
Or the dogs.
Standing to jumping jacks, so it stayed on the whole time.
Or the children.
Yeah, there you go.
I was going to say, Scott would have just sent him.
That would have been really good if we were talking to Scott, and in the background you're sitting there playing with Everett. That would have been awesome.
He would have been at the bar making White Russians for Scott. What are you
There you go.
There you go.
We could have just done the whole show right there.
Rather than making Everett make them for him.
Exactly.
No one can make them for him.
Error is he should have done the whole thing right at the bar. Then he wouldn't have to go.
Then he wouldn't have to go anywhere. That makes perfect sense.
Like John Hall did, yeah.
Exactly. You know what just occurred to me?
What occurred to you?
We're not going to have any comments tonight.
Not very many so far, that's for sure.
Unless, Gene, are you? Gene, are you out there?
All right. People comment in because our two main commenters are on the show. So what are we going to do with that? All right. I got a question for Matt. All right. What
if we not asked Matt?
What
already?
first got you into producing a podcast?
Well, I had
you wanted to follow Brian's footsteps.
I knew these two guys, and I like to drink beer with them from time to time. One of them moved up north, so it was kind of a pain in the butt. I didn't see him for a while. But, they started having some podcasts, and I was like, yeah, this will be entertaining. And I'll just get on there and try to bust their balls. And, of course, I'm watching on my phone, and I can't type for crap. So then it started becoming funny. So then I figured I felt obligated to keep it up. And, we just kept, I don't know, week after week, I just kept trying to comment on there and screw up the spelling of everything. So
Sasquatch fingers.
Yeah.
So I want to put this up really quick.
So just to give you an idea, this is a normal tulip-sized glass, by the way.
Right. There you go. There you go.
With my giant paw.
Your giant paw. Well, there you go. So now we know. And by the way, Matt in the private chat actually put that up. So he's in with the first comment. So
nailed it.
Nailed it. There you go. Just had to put that there. So he beat you, Brian. Anyway. All right.
It's lag. Right, Brian?
It's a little lag. Oh, we got a comment.
Who's going to get the comment in first?
No.
It's a lag.
No, Brian did. There you go.
You can't complain about lag tonight.
There you go. Matt technically had the first comment.
I was
Brian
in the private chat. I was in the wrong one.
You were in the wrong one.
Well played.
I mean, that's like a thing, right? On YouTube videos, you got to type first, right?
You got to type first. Yeah, exactly. First. So anyway, all right. You know what? I'll ask you this. We're going through this. We might as well. We most of the time we ask everybody else this, so we'll ask you. We'll start with Matt because we started with Brian on the last one. What are some of your, other than Belgians, what are some of your favorite styles?
Well, I do like black IPAs.
Okay.
I do like big stouts, especially bourbon barrel aged stouts.
Sure.
There are certain things I don't like. I don't care for peanut butter in beer very much, but I have had a couple really good peanut butter beers recently. Mm-hmm. I think people are kind of changing the game on that a little bit. I do like beer that kind of tastes like beer. I don't really go for a lot of the over lactose, over fruited kind of beers, but I know they're very popular right now.
Sure.
You just hurt Brian to the core.
Yeah, I do like a really good dark lager. I've been on a big dark lager kick the last maybe 4 to 6 months.
Is it just me? I got to ask. Is it just me? I mean, I love Schwartz beers. I can drink Schwartz beers every day of the week. I love them. They're one of my favorite styles. But is it just me, or have there been more dark lagers coming out from a lot of different breweries over the last couple months?
Oh, definitely. I think it's been a huge.
The style's booming. It's like ridiculous.
It's bubbling up.
Yeah.
But bubbling up.
Well,
I do.
Corporate term, nice.
Basically, New England IPAs are still going to rule the roost and be the king. But I know there's a very firm undercurrent of anti-hazy IPA people that want to drink other things right now.
Sure.
I do think that like the dark lagers have been a segment that brewers have thrown out there. There's been a great response because everyone's like, sweet, this is something that's not a hazy
Sweet.
IPA. I can still
It's not sweet.
Or not sweet, yeah.
Yeah, no.
You know, and I also think, you know, with the hazy IPAs, a lot of people are going a little too nuts with it, and it's, you know, there's so many triple IPAs out there now,
Sure.
and it's like, all right, again, Brian's drinking an actual triple that's like close to 10%. That's normal, but like, I don't want to sit down and have a 10% IPA.
But I'll say one thing about a triple IPA though. You know, back in the day, the triple IPAs, they were just, it was like rocket fuel. They're
snap you across the face, yeah.
right. But now, you know, people are starting to dial the style in a little better. They're restraining that heat. They're more drinkable now. They still have a lot of the characteristics they had back in the day. They've become more drinkable. Sometimes you don't even know you're drinking a triple IPA.
Sure.
And I mean,
the heat styled back. The heat styled back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with you, but then at the same point, though, it's still a 10% beer. So then
I'm still not gravitating towards them.
And
Yeah,
I feel like there's a big segment of people that are like, just give me a beer that I can sit and crush.
Right.
And, you know, I can at least have 2 or 3 of them and be social and crush some good beer. And like those dark lagers, they're like, wait a minute, I can crush a beer and it doesn't, like it has flavor too. And they're like, whoa, you know. And it's,
right, exactly.
But also,
I think the dark lagers have really, you know, for people that haven't been super into all these crazy styles of beer, dark lagers have been a segment that they're really like, wow, this is awesome. I can really get into this. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I've seen, especially here in New Jersey, I've seen tons of dark lagers.
Yeah, there's been a bunch.
Just about all parts.
My daughter and her boyfriend the other day when they came down, they brought down a bunch of beers, and they brought down one from the vault. And we didn't actually get to it. It's still sitting in my fridge, but I got to save it for them when they come back down. So next weekend, I guess. But I actually have 2 other dark lagers. We're gonna do a dark lager off, and nice. If I could pick up another one, we'll do 4.
Brian was trying to say something.
Yeah, go for it, Brian.
No, I was just saying how it's kind of weird that these triple IPAs, you know, they'll be like 9-10%, maybe a little higher, but usually around there, and doubles used to be there.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's kind of interesting.
Doubles have backed up a little bit.
And triples are
like,
not.
What, 7 now?
I mean, you used to see some triples that would be 12, 13, really crazy.
Right.
Obviously 120 is even a lot higher than that.
Yeah, 120's
18.
18 plus.
120 is a really good barley wine, though.
Yeah, 120 is a great barley wine, absolutely.
And I enjoy it just like that.
James Harris actually commented, and he said there's way too many triples, he said.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the way he spelt it, he's talking about the IPAs.
Yeah, not the Belgian style. But now, back to your point. Oh, go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
No, but I was just going to answer like the styles question, right?
Sure.
So it's just interesting that I was getting heavy into IPAs. When I started when I started like really getting heavy into craft beer, right? I mean, they're so much different than they are now. It's a whole different style, especially with the New England style IPAs.
Right.
There was that time where the hops were getting ramped up. The bitterness was just getting crazy, and now obviously it's sort of swung the other way, right. and now you see so many people who are relatively new to craft beer. That's all they really want are those New England style IPAs, the sweeter beers, the juicier beers, right? Haze boys.
Sure.
And so. IPA is a style that I like. I definitely won't say I dislike it, but if I'm going to a brewery, I don't want to drink. If I'm going to a brewery, if I'm going to a bottle share, whatever, I don't want to drink 4 or 5 IPAs in a row because if you do that, you're going to be like, this is all the same. Right. After a while, you really can't distinguish between them.
It depends, but I'll add to your point.
Of course it depends, and it depends on the beer. It depends on the nuances of that beer, of course. But after a while, though, I think your palate gets tired.
True, but I think the biggest problem is that too many breweries are doing like 4, 5, 6 hops in a beer. And it's, I think, well, and I'll help John out a little bit here, because one of my favorite probably IPA series right now is Source, because they do the single silo series.
Single silo series, yes.
And you're doing a single hop. So each beer has a specific flavor profile. And like I could drink 5 of those across the board because each one is completely different. But the problem is when too many brewers are like, oh, just pack more hops into it and it'll be better. And you're like, no, it won't. You get this amorphous, hoppy flavor. And
it's not even amorphous.
You could take 2 and 3.
It taste the same.
Sure, you could take 2 and 3 and sometimes 4, depending on what the hops are, and they'll complement each other, and they'll promote different flavors and different flavor profiles and everything else. But if you start putting 6 and 7 and 8 different hops, where are you going?
That's it.
And I'm not saying they're not well-made beers. They are
not at all. But that's where you're not going to get
by the nature of the ingredients and the choices that you're making in the recipe formulation.
Sure.
You're making a beer that's going to be basically pulled right to the middle and be very average.
Right.
Well,
but I have had a few IPAs had like 4 different hops in it that were really, really good also. Mm-hmm. Right. So it depends on how you do it. It depends on how you mix those hops. It depends on when you're adding the hops and that kind of thing. Right. I mean, it's going to be different. Sure. I mean, I just say in general, I just don't want a time where I'm just drinking IPA after IPA after IPA. It's just not what I'm looking for.
No, I agree with that. I'll have 2 in a row and then switch to another style. Maybe have 2 different styles other than that, and then go back to another IPA. It depends. Even go into a brewery or whatever. I never order a flight at a brewery with 4 IPAs on it.
No,
never.
But I'll add on to Matt's point. It's, you've when I was in Rhode Island, Smug was to me what Source is to John. Right. Mm-hmm. I was drinking a Smug almost every single show. They put out a beer called Hop Mess. It had 12 different hops in it. It was one of the most appropriately named beers ever.
What are you going to do with that?
And I actually asked Rob. I said,
"It's got a bitter bomb in your mouth."
Were these just all the? Did you just have like
everything you had left for that batch?
Everything that was left over.
Yeah. And he kind of said, yeah, sort of like that. I want to see what would happen. I'm like, you wound up with a hop mess.
There's a little bit of a brewer's term called a kitchen sink beer.
Sure. That's what it is, yeah.
You're like, what grains do we have left? What hops do we have left? Like, just grab everything together. We'll throw it.
Right. It's like we need 30 pounds of hops, but we only have 3 pounds of each of 10 different hops. So let's put them all in. Yeah.
I think that's the only Smug beer that I rated under a 3.5.
There you go.
Oh, that thing, it was almost undrinkable. I was so upset I bought a 4-pack of it.
By the way, James Harris said, yes, IPAs, haha. I said so.
Okay. I'm not sure what that exactly means. But.
Well, no, because before he said too many triples, triple IPAs.
Yeah. Yes, okay, right. Okay.
But on that note, though, we were talking about triple IPAs before. Have you noticed, I mean, there's been a few quad IPAs that have come out now. So
all they're doing is filling the niche that triple IPAs backed out of.
Right. What triple IPAs used to be are now quad IPAs. So.
I will say that probably the only beer from Trillium that I've ever had that I really just didn't like at all was called a quad IPA, and it was the same thing. It had a picture of a guy in like the little submarine suit.
Oh yeah, the bathysphere kind of thing, or the big
helmet. Those touristy ones they have in like Bermuda. It's like it's like a clear, and it's almost like a scooter that they ride on. It was some dude in something like that. I forget what the hell the name of it was.
And I've ridden on a scooter in Bermuda before.
It was 13% alcohol, and it drank like it was like straight vodka.
I'm gonna play producer here. It was called Personal Submarine.
There you go. Look at that.
That was it.
I'm doing your guys' job now.
Matt, give part of your paycheck to Dave, will you?
Yep.
But if I could just finish the question you had before on my favorite styles, right?
Yeah, go. Yeah, go.
So one thing, my name is Altschul. Mm-hmm. I usually go by Brian Alt on social media, and no one ever really questioned, what that meant or anything. But when I joined on Tap, people started messaging me, "Oh, are you really into alt beers? That's why your name just itself, Brian Alt." So that was kind of interesting, and I do like them. But
it's one of my favorite styles.
Definitely not named for that.
Super underutilized style.
Absolutely.
English mild, ESB. I mean, look, I'm pretty much across the board. But the styles that I don't like are, and John, I think you're aware of this. I don't like spice beers.
Right.
Like Christmas, pumpkin spice and Christmas spice beers. Those are not for me. But other than that, I'm pretty much open to trying whatever. And I really like, and actually you go to breweries, like you guys are saying, you stop by a brewery these days. It seems more often now. Maybe half of the taps will be IPAs, but the other half will be all kinds of different styles.
Sure. Oh, it's all
and that's really been nice.
What's interesting is John had asked the question, what are some of your favorite styles? With this group, the list is a lot shorter with what we don't like.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Like for me, you asked me that. There's only two things I'm going to tell you that I don't particularly like. One are pumpkin spice beers.
Right.
Nope.
I'm done. No. And the second one, which is probably my least favorite style of beers, because I can choke down a pumpkin spice beer every now and then, if it's well done. Farrows. And I'm sorry, Matt. I know it's a Belgian style, but to me, it is too damn sweet. I get a headache after the first sip of that beer.
They are really, really sweet. I can have some, but I can have like a beer like that. Give me a 4-ounce taster.
Yeah,
and I'm good to go.
And a chaser of insulin. It's just no. I thought Lindemann's was bad with their so-called lambics.
So-called lambics.
So, yeah,
is that a style of so-called lambic?
They should be a style for them, but you get that, and as sweet as their lambics are, they actually also make a farrow. So they take a farrow and actually make a farrow sweeter than an actual farrow.
Right.
It's like a glass of sugar water.
Well, like all three of you probably know. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you know. My biggest style that I'm not. I mean, there are styles that I favor over others, but there's nothing that I really hate. But there's one that I always kind of, at least for the most part, used to shy away from were Pilsners, because they always would. It would just be so reminiscent of a Budweiser to me.
However,
now, I don't know what everybody's doing. I don't know if the Brewers Guild terms for brewing Pilsners has changed or whatever, but a lot of the Pilsners, and it's not like I don't try them. Of course I'll try them, but I would say probably the last 6 months, maybe a little more, any Pilsner I've had has been really good. And I know my palate hasn't changed that much.
I would say there's a gulf of difference between an actual Czech Pilsner, like or a Bavarian Pilsner, and the American
Pilsner, sure. Pilsner. But it's even the ones that they're calling, this is brewed in the style of a Czech Pils. Mm-hmm. Clearly, it's the hops they're using. It's the that's obviously the answer right there. It's not it's not the base malt. It's not so much the base malt, because that base malt's used in other things as well.
It's usually the same across the board.
It's
the
hallmark of a Czech Pilsner is that it has a snap of sauce. So you get a snap of bitterness, a snap of that lovely floral note, and
almost grassy.
It's for such a light beer that has so much impact because it's such a snap.
Right.
But I think the reason we're seeing this, John, is, and we talked about this, Sean Lopolito talked about this from Lops Brewing in one of our earlier shows, is now, I think he put it perfectly. It's like, okay, no one brews an IPA. No brewery brews an IPA to impress other breweries.
No.
It's an easy thing to do.
Sure.
Whatever. Don't show me your IPA. And I think he said, brew me a Pilsner.
Yeah.
If I enjoy that, you've impressed me. Because right now, if you go to almost any brewery and you look at what the brewers are drinking, if they make a Pilsner, that's what they're drinking.
Yeah.
It's
the brewer's beer.
It's the brewer's beer.
Absolutely.
And because they drink this so often, like one of my visits to Carton, I'm visiting, one of my friends who used to work for Carton.
I was there on Sunday, by the way.
I should have gone. But we're downing our town after our town after our town.
Sure.
Right? Because they like these beers, because they're tired of drinking all this heavy stuff, all this hoppy stuff that is wearing them down, wearing their palates down. They're becoming crispy boys, right? They're starting to brew them better for themselves.
Sure.
And because they're brewing them better, us beer nerds are taking note of this, and we're like, "Whoa, wait a second! I can drink a lot of this.
Yeah.
I like this. It can warm up and not be awful."
Sure.
But I also think, how much of it do you think is them thumbing their nose at big beer, going, "Hey, you're trying to do what we do. We're going to do what you do, but we're going to do it better."
Absolutely. I think it's probably a combination of the two.
So here's an interesting point, John.
It depends upon the ego of the brewer.
Right.
So another thing. Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring Carton into this because I will give them credit because
just don't say the name.
Yeah.
3 times. He'll appear.
So
he's texting me right now. Hold on a minute.
They did a version of our town that was dry hopped with Nelson Sauvin hops.
Oh wow!
And no, they did this several years ago, and then they released. I think they released a batch of it last year, and it was phenomenal.
I can imagine.
Phenomenal. And I've actually seen now about 4 or 5. I've actually drank 3, and I've seen about 5 Pilsner. They're calling them now New Zealand Pilsners. Okay. So they have either Nelson Sauvin hops or Motueka, or so it's a Pilsner dry hopped, not with like the traditional Saaz or something noble, but with some kind of really crazy juicy New Zealand hop.
That sounds enjoyable.
They are fantastic.
Well, got to find those.
Yeah, definitely got to find that.
Fantastic.
Well, I mean, like hoppy lagers, you're seeing a lot of that, like IPLs. And
IPL, yeah.
Yeah, well, these are not what I would call IPLs.
I'm not saying that. No, I wasn't saying that.
They're not hopped enough, right?
Well, it's Jack's Abbey, to your point. Jack's Abbey, most of Jack's Abbey's IPLs are better than a lot of other IPAs I've had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are still Pilsners. They don't have an excessive amount of bitterness. They're still really crushable. But instead of having that light floral note, you do have like the Nelson adds that really nice like white grape Venus note or things like that. And it's such a nice different, turn from what you're used to drinking a beer like that. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. But we've been
I was just comparing like,
Oh yeah.
That trend towards hoppier lagers.
Well, it's
to, Pilsner.
Speaking of source,
IPLs looked like they were going to take off for a little while, and then it kind of out, but this is something new. This is something.
You still see them around though.
There's Dave's short-lived fad. He got one letter wrong.
You got one letter wrong. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
So we've been beer nerding out here for a while.
Well, hold on. I just want to say one thing too on that note. You're talking about the Pilsners and everything else. Source. Speaking of Source, a couple months ago they did their Italian Pilsner, and that thing was dynamite. And yeah, I know it's Source. I know, but that thing was dynamite.
That's the Brian Cass style. No, not Source.
No. It was. I didn't. Augie claimed that. Oh God, I said the name. That's once. But didn't he claim that his producer invented the style?
Italian Pilsner?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't Cass. It was Kennedy.
Justin Kennedy. Yeah.
It was Justin Kennedy who apparently invented the style according to him.
But Greg and Jeremy put a ton of Citra in it, so it's this really solid Italian Pilsner with this burst
with
of
American hops,
with American hops, with this lemony goodness. It's like really, really good. But in any event, so I just want to say that. But go ahead.
You know where I'm going.
I know where you're going. Why don't we digress?
We're going to digress because we've been beer nerding out, and it's time to have a little fun with you guys.
Yes,
and part of the reason, and this is the curveball I threw John. And the reason I threw this curveball is I've been going through I've actually been rewatching some of the old episodes. I've realized a few things. Unlike many people claim, I really do hate the sound of my own voice, and my laugh annoys the hell out of me. That's one. Two.
That's why I try to put as much of his laughing in all of the intros that I could possibly find. So.
And I don't know how anybody watches this program.
Is two that everyone loves hearing you chew on food?
Yeah, sure. There's that too. But one of the things is, I just got through the Old Heights episode, and at one point, Brian calls Matt out and says, "Stop showing off." I'm experiencing some tension here. So we decided that we
I love the guy.
Sure.
I know, but there's still this like kind of like.
By the way, Brian,
it's like this background competition happening
over in that direction.
So we decided to make it a little bit of a competition. And what we're going to do...
Should I throw the graphic up before you say
Throw the graphic up.
All right, here's the graphic. Take a look at the graphic, guys.
Here we go.
We are going to have a battle of the producers. There we go.
There it is.
All right.
And what we decided to do, since you guys know so much obscure crap, this is going to be a trivia competition.
Oh boy.
There we go.
So now these are the rules. Okay, there are some rules to this.
Dave's going to read you the rules.
I'm going to read the rules here.
We'll give an example to one of them, but go ahead.
Yes. So rule number 1. Well, that's kind of rules guidelines. So first of all, there will be 5 categories.
Okay.
They will get increasingly harder. Except for John's questions, they're all hard. John's really going to challenge you guys. I was a little nicer. There will be 2 questions per category. John will read one. He'll read the first one. I will read the second one. Okay. Each category may have sub rules within, and I'll announce those as we get to the categories. Rule number 3: we don't have a budget or any kind of technology where you can actually buzz in.
Yeah,
So you guys will have to verbally buzz in, and with a nod to Sergio to buzz in, you have to say buzz buzz.
Buzz buzz.
Buzz buzz.
Buzz buzz. Buzz buzz to get in. So the first
Quicker
person
and faster you say it, you get the.
So the first person who buzzes in, the question will stop. So you can buzz in before the question's finished.
Okay.
But who's ever reading will stop dead cold, and then you have your chance to answer.
Maybe it depends on.
We'll see. Also, you are allowed to use Google. You're allowed to research, but you can't buzz and go Google.
You can't.
Once you have the answer, once you buzz and you're called upon, answer needs to be immediate. All right.
Okay.
We square on this one.
All right.
Okay, that one's an important one.
John, if you notice, I never play trivia.
I know.
But it's not because I'm not good at it.
I know.
Buzz
I don't like the competition.
You don't like to show off, right?
Oh, we're gonna. Oh, yes.
No, I don't want to compete. I
know.
So
fine,
whoever,
fine. You guys want me to compete? I'll compete.
You'll compete.
Whoever. Wait a second. You won a chili eating contest.
Yeah, really.
I don't want to hear it.
Hot sauce, not chili.
No hot sauce. You have no caveats allowed to you right now.
Right.
Because you are a champ. You are a champ, buddy.
Which remind us later, we got something to talk about with you. So,
whoever. Yeah, well, not yet. We'll see who's the champ here. Whoever wins will have their salary tripled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whoever answers, and the winner is whoever answers the most question. Now, if you've done the math, there's 10 questions. So if there is a tiebreaker, 1 category, 1 question.
That's it.
All right. Yeah. Are we ready to play?
Sure.
All righty.
Okay, guys. So Brian, give me a buzz.
Buzz buzz.
Matt?
Buzz.
Okay,
right.
We're good to go.
All right.
First category will be general beer knowledge. John?
What would that be like?
Give us an example, John.
We'll give you an example of this general beer one. Like
he'll ask the question, I'll answer it.
All right, Dave, you answer this, okay? What are the 2 main styles of beer?
Buzz.
What's that, Dave?
Pastry stouts and milkshake IPAs.
That is correct.
Thank you.
You got it.
IPAs and IPLs.
There you go.
No, as of course we all know it's lagers and ales.
Lagers and ales. Right.
So John will ask the actual real first question.
Okay. So here's the first question. Here we go. Okay. What is the difference between an English porter or traditional porter and a Baltic porter?
Buzz.
Matt?
Baltic porter is a lager, and an English porter is an ale.
That is correct.
Oh, there we go. 1 point for Matt.
All right.
Okay, so
also, while we're on the subject, there are not enough Baltic porters in the world.
There are not anywhere near
you
enough
have
Baltic
mentioned that on the show.
And I'll make Brian happy because the Bull Hollow was really good.
Bull Hollow was pretty good.
Bull Hollow was good. Bull Hollow was good.
Pretty recently. So.
Okay, so here is my question. What is the oldest brewery?
Buzz.
Matt?
Via Stefaner.
Nope.
You are wrong, so the point goes to Brian. Because you didn't let me finish the question. What is the oldest? But even though Brian got the point, we'll let him answer the question. What is the oldest brewery in the United States?
United States. No, that's continuously running. Well,
yeah.
Yuengling.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Category number 2, and we are at a tie.
We're at a tie, 1-1. Yeah.
And I fully expected one of you guys to jump that question. That's why I wrote it the way I did. Thanks for falling into that. So the next one has a separate rule. This is called Name That Movie.
There you go.
So what we're going to do, there will be 5.
That's the only beer question, by the way, in the entire...
Oh, yes. That's the only beer question. As I said, this is all trivia. Name that movie. There will be 5 clues. You can buzz in on any one of the 5 clues.
However...
And then you need to guess the movie, and we need the exact name of the movie. However, you can buzz and be wrong twice. But your third wrong, 3 strikes, you're out. It goes to your opponent.
There you go.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
I think so.
John?
All
John,
right, so
number 1.
Movie question number 1. Here we go. Clue number 1. Rome. Nothing. Clue number 2. Spain. Clue number 3. France. Clue number 4. King.
It's 1 to 5.
Clue number 5. Piss Boy.
Is it Buzz Gladiator?
Nope.
You are talking about History of the World Part 1.
There you go.
We'll give that 1 to
There
Brian.
you go.
God, I haven't watched that in like 20 years.
Okay, so mine.
There, yours. Yeah.
Clue number 1. Croissant. Clue number 2. Cat. Clue number 3. Socialite. Clue number 4. Truman Capote. Clue number 5.
Wow.
Holly Golightly.
I want to say it's like Mel Brooks. Or not Mel Brooks. Let me think of Monty Python.
Nope.
Nope, and nope.
I'll give a 5.
Buzz.
What?
Go ahead, Brian.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Brian's got that one.
There you go.
I don't even think I've ever seen that.
Really?
There you
Yeah.
go.
All right, so we're going to go with so we're on to category number 3 with Brian leading 3 to 1.
Yeah.
Non-competitive Brian leading 3 to 1.
3 to 1. There you go.
I didn't say I wasn't going to win.
Now he's got a smack talk.
No,
Okay.
I'm not smack talking. I'm just saying.
No, we're trying
All
to get you to smack talk. Anyway, so
All right.
category number 3 is music lyrics, and this has its own rules. John and I, for a song, we are going to give 3 lines, one at a time. Like Name That Movie, you can buzz in on either one of the lines. Also, like that movie, you do get a mulligan. You can buzz in once and get it wrong and not be penalized. 2 strikes, you're out here since there's only 3 questions. We do need the exact name of the song, and we need the band.
All right.
Take it away, John.
You got it. Clue number 1. The Scented Country Air. Clue number 2. Across the Mountainside.
Buzz.
What's that?
Red Barchetta.
From the band.
Rush.
Okay. Yes, you got it right.
Yeah, if you know John, you should have just realized it's going to be a Rush song.
Clue number 3 was and the
I
hop.
wasn't
I
surprised.
think Rush was a little before my time. So.
Clue number 3 and hop the turbine freight. Well, that's why I picked a popular one. I mean, I'm sure you heard Red Barchetta at some point in your life. And hop the turbine freight was clue number 3. Just so you know.
Okay, so mine, clue number 1, it's plain to see we're over. Line number 2, and I hate when things are over. Line number 3, when so much is left undone.
Buzz.
Brian?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Again, it's
something.
I think Matt knew that, but he was like laughing, and he
I
didn't.
knew it. I was laughing too much. I was like,
All right, so
All right.
category number 4.
I Googled it.
Well,
I thought
you
Matt
can
looked
Google.
like he was looking down on
He said
his
I could
phone
do
as
that.
well.
he Googles
You guys
a lot
can
quicker
Google.
than I do. I'm trying to type with these.
With Sasquatch.
I got a keyboard.
You can type with these.
This next one, I really do highly recommend having Google up for this.
Yeah,
for this category.
You might want to be ready.
Especially considering if you
both might actually know it. I'm not sure.
Well, it depends. There's two questions, but the category here, and know who you're dealing with in a yellow shirt here. New York Giants knowledge.
Okay, and since there's 4 Giants fans sitting here, it shouldn't be too difficult. But
I couldn't answer his question, and he took 3 shots to get mine. Any rate. So, like we said, it's going to get.
I wasn't thinking of these. Whatever.
Yeah.
You'll
Anyway,
get it. You'll get it.
So this one is straight up wrong answer, and your opponent wins. Right answer, and you get it.
Sure. Same thing.
John.
All right. New York Giants knowledge. Here's your question. Prior to Phil Simms, Jeff Hostetler, and Eli Manning winning Super Bowls, who was the most recent Giants quarterback to win an NFL championship, and in what year?
Dead air.
We need a Jeopardy theme going, but
yeah, we need like.
No. I was like, should we play Big Toe?
Should we?
I feel like we need to let that list read again.
I'll read it again. Prior to Phil Simms, Jeff Hostetler, and Eli Manning winning Super Bowls, who was the most recent Giants quarterback to win an NFL championship, and in what year?
I know the year.
We need a buzz. Syrup dripping from the.
Syrup dripping from. I want to say it's fake wool. I want to say it's fake wool, and I'm not sure what a fake wool is.
I could have sworn he said NyQuil.
Or face hole, maybe.
Face hole.
Face hole. I don't know. I'll ask Harry tomorrow night.
Yeah, syrup dripping from his Dayquil.
Syrup dripping from his Dayquil.
Okay, I'm going to go with.
Buzz. Oh, no,
Buzz.
Go ahead, Matt.
1956, Don Heinrich.
No.
Point goes to Brian.
I
mean, so it was 1956. Is that right?
Possibly. Who would the quarterback would be though?
Yeah, I know. I know what you're looking for. I have no idea.
All right.
It would be Charlie Connerly.
Yeah, because we all know this.
Charlie Connerly was the quarterback when the Giants won the NFL championship in 1956.
Yeah, I think the only person I can name from that team is Frank Gifford.
I think Chuck Aaron know it because he said buzz.
Okay.
So.
Or the fact that maybe these guys are buzzed.
That could be too.
And having trouble typing into Google.
Chuck, let us know what you meant by that.
So my New York Giants knowledge is a little, well, maybe a shit ton.
By the way, Matt, that was before I was born also.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
A little bit way back. I got the year at least.
He did get the year. Should we give Matt a half a point?
No. Okay, so, and I need the full name here first and last.
All right.
Who scored the game winner in Super Bowl 25?
Who scored the game winner in Super Bowl 25?
The game winner in Super Bowl 25.
We're both looking it up.
Well, whoever's faster to
type. We did recommend using Google for this category.
Start typing.
Buzz.
Brian?
Barr.
First name and last name. You got to look up a little bit on the Wikipedia. They give his full name at the beginning of the game.
All right.
I mean, come on.
Okay. We're giving this to Matt because you've taken too long to get the full name.
Come on.
And you've got a huge lead.
You got 7 points already.
There you go, Matt Barr.
It's Matt, right? I wasn't sure. I thought it was Matt.
Matt Barr Potenski.
We're going to round 5 with Brian up 6-2, so Matt has no shot in hell of winning this anyway.
By the way, Chuck has turned this into a drinking game, and he's playing from home.
Cheers to Chuck.
So Chuck, you're going to have to send us the rules of the drinking game because Johnny and I have talked about turning this into a drinking game.
I think we might actually. So.
But that would be irresponsible. But
we'll have to do the first one from Hackettstown by Chuck.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so category number 5. We were so hoping this would be a tie going into category number 5. But because it is
I'm just trying to get Brian a raise here, trying to help a brother out.
He's given like 4. Yeah, he's about as far from a brother as you can get.
There you go.
We've since it's King's Day, and that is a Dutch holiday, we decided to go with trivia based on somebody who had a Dutch last name, whose father's nickname was Dutch, and so category 5 is Bruce Springsteen trivia.
Oh, come on.
we wanted to come into we wanted this to come to a tie so that Brian could bitch and confess as much as possible, because John and I are both aware how much he hates Springsteen. So again,
I still feel pretty. Other than the beer questions, I think I'm pretty age prejudiced in this.
Yeah, I'm more in the right age range for these two guys than you are, Matt. What can I say?
Well, I figured. I mean, hey, you know what? If you're a Giants fan, I mean, come on, you don't know the history. You know some of the history.
I don't know that.
No, I don't know who the quarterback in 1956
was.
No one does, Johnny.
Was I born in 1956? And I knew it.
Yeah, you're a freak.
I'm a freak.
So. Ask your Springsteen question.
All right, here's the Bruce Springsteen question. Here we go.
And this is I don't know the answer to this one, and you know how much I love Springsteen.
Here we go. Okay. What was and I will again echo Dave's words. You might want to have Google open.
And this was actually mentioned on one of the shows, by the way.
However, I am going to tell you this. If you do have to Google, if you don't have to Google it, that's fine. If you do have to Google it, there are 2 answers to this question out there. Okay, one of them's wrong,
and one of them is more close to John.
So do I Google right answer at the end of it?
Yeah, right.
So here we go.
Fire it off, John.
Here we go. What was the address of the house that the E Street Band rehearsed in, and whose house was it?
I mean, we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah, we were.
Mm-hmm.
What was the address of the house that the E Street Band rehearsed in, and whose house was it?
Here's a hint, man. It's on E Street.
Brian's throwing you a bone there, Matt. You're taking pity on your...
I just want to be fair, that's all.
There you go. There you go. All right.
I'm just finding a stupid house in Colts Neck and everywhere else.
Once again, what was the address of the house? What's the
address of Source Brewing?
E Street Band rehearsed in, and whose house was it? All right.
You're crazy. You guys are crazy.
Anyone? No. How fast is Google tonight?
Well, okay. Well,
right.
If this is the right answer or the wrong answer, I have no idea. But
read
Buzz.
Go for it, Brian.
Wait, did he say Buzz?
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
1107 East Street.
Whose house was it?
In Belmar.
Right. And whose house was it?
Whose house was it? You know, does this even say? Dave Sancious.
Sancious, yeah.
Sancious.
Yeah, Sancious, yeah.
Whatever.
1107 East Street, Belmar.
Apparently, I found the wrong answer.
You found 1105, right? Yeah, 1105 was the wrong answer. Yeah, it's 1107.
Okay.
It's they played in the garage.
That was Safari.
Yeah, they played in the garage at 1107 East Street in Belmar, which is about 3 blocks from that way.
I mean, in fairness, though, this when Matt and I are giving our answers, we're both Googling. So you know.
But that's the point.
That's the point, right?
If you know it, great. If you don't, you're a producer. Google it. Find the answer.
Just handicapping my big hands. I see how.
We are testing your ability to be producers.
Exactly. All right.
Okay, so my question, my Bruce Springsteen knowledge question.
All right.
Before dropping out to pursue his musical career,
mm-hmm.
where did the boss go to college?
While they answer this question, you might want to check. Your voice got a little lower there.
Yeah, your mic is up.
I'm sorry. Did you guys hear it?
Buzz.
Go ahead, Matt.
Ocean County College?
Yes, he did.
Matt's got that one.
There you go.
And we're going to do. I had to get one more. Come on.
He briefly attended Ocean County College, but dropped out.
All right.
So
I have one more Bruce Springsteen question.
Go ahead.
I have one more. I'm going to throw it out there. Wild card. I'm going to throw it out there. Whose father did Bruce Springsteen idolize when he was a teenager?
His father.
Whose father did? I'm not talking about the father. I'm talking about the person whose father it is. So, whose father did Bruce Springsteen idolize when he was a teenager? Anybody? Either of you?
Yeah, because it was in his show.
It was in his show. It was absolutely in his show.
In his show.
He mentioned it in his show.
He wrote a song about the father on the High Hopes album.
Yep.
Called The Wall.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to have a name.
Page article for this.
Seems to have a name of a guy that's on this.
Brian might want to buzz here.
Buzz. Go ahead.
Buzz.
What's that, Brian?
So, do you need first name?
No, you could just say the moniker. Don't have to even say the name if you want.
Beer Samurai.
The Beer Samurai. Very good. There you go.
This is correct.
All right.
Matt's like, how do I not know?
Buzz.
What's that?
Hex Vineyard.
Do you guys want to hear what the tiebreaker would have been?
Go ahead. Go for the tiebreaker.
Sure, of course.
So the category would have been New Jersey. Actually, New Jersey legend, I think, would be the better category. So in legend.
By the way, the answer is Gene Lynch.
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say Buzz, Sergio Mutella.
There you go.
In legend, what was the last name of the Jersey Devil's mother?
Oh, 13th child. I just looked this up the other day. God damn it, I've already forgot it.
The answer to this was actually given on one of the shows.
Buzz leads.
There you go.
There you go. Mama leads. Mama leads, baby.
I literally just looked that up the other day.
There you go. All right. So, who is our winner, Beer Samurai?
Well, 7-3.
7-3.
Brian Alt remains champ.
But I think I drank more beer during it, so who's really...
He did. Matt definitely drank more beer.
That was buzzed.
There you go. All right.
Matt probably drinks more beer than me generally.
This is true.
Right.
Speaking of that, I'm opening my third beer.
I'm going to open my third beer as well. What's your third beer?
No, you tell yours first, because mine will be a nice segue.
Okay, I'm going to open my third beer. My third beer is Corsendonk Agnes. Okay.
There you go.
Corsendonk Agnes. It's a triple. It's a Belgian triple. 7.5%. I didn't put the crawl up, if you will. Here, I'll throw it up for those of you that are watching the show.
Don't throw up. You haven't drank that much.
No.
Oh, throw up the crawl.
Throw up the crawl, exactly. So I'll pour it, and I'm pouring it into a Newport Storm Brewery glass.
That's blasphemy.
Well, it's not, because Newport Storm Brewing doesn't exist anymore.
That's a beautiful beer. No, it doesn't, because it's now called Newport Craft. And
We see it, Matt. We see it.
Exactly. So this is something of a collector's item, kind of like a particular.
Let's see that glass, Johnny.
Want to see the glass? Sure.
I may have the same one. I actually have an older one.
Older than that?
Yeah.
I've actually worn the shirt too on the show, I think, before.
You have.
I have. So
I
anyway,
think it's the first Rhode Island shirt you wore. What are you opening in there, Matt?
What are you opening?
So this is extraordinarily weird, but I'm going to go for it.
We like extraordinarily weird on the show. That's why you guys are here.
Cinderland's Beer Company. It is a Belgian quadruple with coffee.
Oh, that's not extremely weird. That sounds extremely delicious.
You know what's very odd, Matt? I actually almost wore my Cinderland shirt tonight.
Interesting.
It was very weird. That would have been funny.
I'm going to pour that into my
Cinderlands is making some really good beer in Pittsburgh.
I need to get out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Pittsburgh not too long ago, but the problem was that everything was closed. I went to Dancing Gnome and grabbed candy.
Wait. Wasn't that W.C. Fields?
That
was Philadelphia.
Philadelphia,
right?
yeah. All things considered, I'd rather be in Philadelphia.
Right. Oh, yes. I went to Philadelphia and it was closed.
I see us in your glass.
Yes.
That's a very nice beer. What is it? Cinderland's what?
It's called Bricktop. They're coffee quadruple.
Wow.
Bricktop Coffee Quad. Wow, very nice.
Have you had it before, Matt? Have you?
I have not. So this is me just going for it, and we're going to try something
Please
nice.
pour the liquid in your face. Let us know what you think.
Oh my
Really?
goodness, the nose is amazingly coffee. So this is
Nose feel. Remember
it's supposedly
You gotta say
intelligent
nose feel.
coffee.
On this show, you have to say nose feel.
So if anyone knows anything
Say
about
nose feel.
Intelligista coffee is the same.
He's not going to say nose feel, is he?
It's one of the same brands that Goose Island uses.
I think you need
They
to
use
mute him.
Intelligista is?
Mm-hmm.
Intelligista, yeah.
We're not going to get Matt to say nose feel, are we?
I wish I had that out there. Actually, I'm pretty sure I had a quad when I was at Cinnamon.
That's pretty solid.
But, yeah.
I mean, it's
I
very
definitely
coffee. It's almost, it's almost too much coffee for the style in some ways, but it still drinks really nice.
Gotcha.
Yeah, how can you put any adjunct into a quad and have it be too much?
Well, because the coffee blows out all the dark fruit notes.
And the yeasty goodness and the esters. And
yeah.
Agnes is pretty tasty, by the way. Just want to let you know. So, not that you haven't had it before, but it's really tasty. So there's
Brian,
a reason.
Brian, well, wait a second. Brian, do you have something to open up? Or?
Do you,
No, I just have those two. The first bottle, like I said, was really big. So,
Gotcha.
So then we're going to do is we're going to use my third beer to segue into.
Go for it. What's your third beer?
It will be Trappist Rochefort 10.
There you go. That is a tasty beer, and it might be mentioned again soon.
It may be mentioned again soon as we roll into our top threes.
Our top threes. There it is. Craft beer top threes. They're the 33 section of the show, as you all know. 33s. We give a nod to 1933, the repeal of prohibition, and we do a top threes list.
I love the nose feel of this beer.
Oh, the nose feel of that beer is so good.
And also the opening date of the Cloverleaf.
And the opening date of the Cloverleaf, very good. And Dave, why do we do a top three list?
Because if we did a top 10 list, we would be here all goddamn
night long. Exactly. So
you mean we're not here all night long?
We're not here all night long. Yeah. Well, we might be, but the show might not be. So, top threes. Our top three list tonight is top three favorite Belgian beers. There we go.
From Belgium.
From Belgium.
From Belgium. Yes, that's the caveat there.
That is the important part here because there's so many Belgian styles, within the U.S.
And very well made too, by any means. Absolutely. But yeah, top three Belgian beers from Belgium.
We even have a Trappist brewery in the country.
We do. Up in Massachusetts.
And I've drank 2 Trappists tonight.
You have. All right. Who should start?
How about what would be Belgian file? Someone who just
Belgiophile?
Who just gets off on Belgians. Well, let's start with Mr. Potenski. Set the bar to the point that we can't reach it.
Go for it.
Because your Belgian beer knowledge is.
Let's not take this to a weird place, okay, Dave?
So
have you watched this show, Brian?
I have to.
Have you heard my description of pork roll?
Yeah. I have a couple of caveats before I do my list.
Oh, we've got some caveats.
Go for it. We always like caveats.
I'm not doing any sour styles.
No.
As much as I love some of them,
I'll make up for you.
I'm doing only Trappist style beer because that's what I absolutely love the most. Not saying they have to be Trappist, but Trappist style beers.
Sure. Absolutely.
So either Abbey Ales or Trappist
Ale. If they're your top three, then they're top three. It doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
So, and it's funny because I'm actually not going to have any actual Trappists in here, which is the most disappointing.
But just brewed in the Trappist style.
I was actually going to do one double, one.
No monks were used in the making of these.
Yeah, I was going to do one double, one triple, and one quad. But then I just said
one bourbon, one Scotch, one beer.
I'm going to put what my favorites are. So even though my heart wants to go with Westmalle triple because that's the original.
Sure.
What I have to actually go with is Didal's Dol Teve.
Ooh, nice.
As my first.
I've always pronounced it as Dolly, so I guess I've been wrong.
I don't know. My Belgish isn't very good. So.
I always said Dudali too, but I'll give the nod to Matt because he's Mr.
Yeah, we'll.
So Dol Teve also colloquially. Well, that's if you know about Dol Teve, it's hilarious because it actually means mad bitch is what it means, and it's in that
a few of them.
in that section of Belgium, it's actually kind of
I'm gonna leave that alone.
It's kind of like a bad curse for a woman, who is a pain in the ass, and basically one of the brewers heard like his owner on the phone yelling at his wife one day, and he's like. I'm going to make a beer. That's a brilliant name for a beer.
There you go.
But on top of that, it is actually one of my favorite triples. It is fantastic. It is really nice and dry in the finish. It has lovely phenols in it. It's just fantastic. So
Phenols.
that's phenols. Sorry.
You said
sorry, my Jersey accent.
It's got some sausage in it.
What's interesting,
not phenol, not the spice. PHENOLS.
Phenols, yeah.
What's interesting is the ringtone for my ex-wife used to be Meredith Brooks' Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And it went off once at work, and people were like, that's your, because I was married at the time, like, that's your wife's ringtone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it was funny because it was actually at her request.
Nice.
And you can't get anybody to believe that.
Yeah. I can believe that. I can buy that.
Anyway.
I know a few women that profess literally to the world that they're bitches. So, and they're proud of it. So,
I know a few.
Number 2 is the expected choice would be Saison du Pont, but that's not my favorite beer from that brewery.
Okay.
I know where you're going.
So it's
IPA DuPont.
It's Ave Le Bon View.
That is a beautiful beer. Oh my god!
Triple. Which the nice thing I like about that beer specifically is that it is a triple, but it has that very distinctive Saison du Pont yeast note to it. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. It's a really good triple, but with like that interesting Saison finish.
Yeah.
So that would probably be my number 2. And then, of course, I got to go with a quad. And just in the little slightest Guten Carolus Cuvée Van den Kaiser Blau got inched out. It could have been there because that beer is fantastic.
He just pulled one of our tricks there, John.
I know.
Sliding into number 4.
Right.
But one of my favorite
it's a beautiful beer
of all time, and it's so crazy, is St. Bernardus 12.
Yep.
And I think I talked about this, but I usually have a bottle that's aged between 2 to 3 years in my cellar at all times. I have like a whole row of them. I drink one, I buy another one, and I go out to the ShopRite liquor store and just grab one off the shelf. And this is one of the world's best beers right here.
Yeah.
And he's got the label's got that ABT on it, which stands for Abbott, right?
Abbott, yes, Abbott.
Because it's Fra Pater Abbott, right? Brother, father, Abbott.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Abbott's 12. So.
And you know what? I got to put the stamp of approval on your list there.
That's a great list. That's a great list. Let's give him a round of applause. That's a great list. Good job. Good job. All right.
Mr. Alt.
All right.
It was like between my favorite children, like.
It's tough. It really is. It's hard.
So hit us, Old School.
Go for it, Mr. Old School.
So
you have to point them out on your shirt, though.
Yeah.
My belly button, left nipple, right nipple.
Yeah. So the Trappist.
Don't get excited, ladies.
10. Trappist for 10 is.
You mean this one here?
Yeah, and you know what's funny is I usually have a bottle of that in my fridge.
Sure.
Because it's so easy to get here.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot.
I picked this up at like 2:30.
Yeah,
you can get it pretty much anywhere that sells at least decent craft.
And I got to say, that's a beautiful thing that you can pick up. You can pick up like St. Bernardus Abbott 12, and you can pick up
St. Bernardus also 12.
And it's amazing that you can pick it up that easy. So it's a beautiful thing. So anyway,
well, and the couple of beers that Matt mentioned definitely are on my longer list.
Sure.
But I did not exclude sours.
You did not exclude sours.
So Wild West from Alvine.
Alvine, yeah.
Fantastic.
Dave, you bought that beer at Spite and Dival.
And you remember why I bought that beer?
Because me and Brian wanted some.
No,
that's why you bought that beer.
This was my birthday tour. My birthday tour, and I was not allowed to buy a beer. And
no, we wouldn't let you. Yeah, that's true.
They wouldn't let me. And I'm looking up at the board, and I'm looking up at the Alvine.
Until then.
And I'm looking at it, and no one's ordering the damn thing. So I call the bartender over, slip him my credit card. Will you don't tell anybody I got this beer? And so this beer shows up, and everyone's drinking. Oh, this is fantastic! And by they're asking each other, "Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it?" By the time they got through everybody else, they just all looked at me like, "You weren't supposed to buy up here." I'm like, "Well, you were ordering the wrong one."
Exactly.
And we very much enjoyed it.
We very much enjoyed every drop of it.
So. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
so that was at the Spite and Dival, which is not in the Bronx, is in Brooklyn.
No,
in Brooklyn.
Well, Spite and Dival train station is in the Bronx.
That's what I'm saying. Well, the neighborhood is in
neighborhood,
the Bronx,
yeah,
actually.
sure.
But the bar is in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn,
and of course,
Avenue at the foot of Havermeyer.
Is Kings County. So
Kings County.
I'm going full circle.
You're
Happy
wrapping
Kings
everything
Day.
in here.
There you go.
The whole thing is when
It
we
all
talked
comes.
about
It's like a circle.
the circle of life.
Right.
When we were talking about Spite and Dival once in the show, John and I both mentioned that you have to read every damn
single
chalkboard.
thing. Absolutely.
It's so easy to miss things.
And they were missing it that night,
We
and
missed
it
it.
because there's so much good beer there.
There is. There's
It's
so
like
much.
the last time you and I were there, John, and you missed the green bench.
I missed the green bench. I did.
Yeah.
I did.
So my third choice, I had to kind of cheat, and you know, I've had 5 different Cantillon bottles.
Yeah.
I can't really say one is better than the other. I mean, maybe I can, but I don't really have to. So I'm going to say, well, I mean, you know,
What?
the 2016 Iris I had was probably one of the best.
Which is interesting because I just told John Iris is probably my lowest rated in my palate Cantillon.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's such a small difference. You know, they're all really good. And so, you know, the 5 Cantillon bottles I think are my third choice.
That's your choice.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. Should I? Go ahead. What?
No, go right ahead.
No, I was going to say, should I go next? Or?
No, I'll go next because what Brian just said segues perfectly into mine.
There you go. Go for it. Go ahead.
Because I went all 3 sours.
Yes, you did.
Because the whole lambic tradition and that
we compare notes
valley,
earlier in the day.
Yeah, we do. That lambic tradition and that one valley that goes through. It's just the beers that come out of there are fantastic. I can't remember the name of the damn valley right now, and our producers are busy, and hopefully Sasquatch Fingers is already looking it up. What is the name of the valley?
Well, it's not Loire.
Well, it's where Cantillon is.
Zen Valley.
No, Zen. Oh.
Zeng.
No,
Zennne.
That doesn't sound right. But at any rate,
Yes, Sen.
Zenne?
Zenne. Yeah.
Okay.
No, SENNE.
SNE.
S. There you go. So, okay.
Well,
So my number 3.
Wikipedia has with a Z.
So my number 3 is a Yun, Cantillon, Rosa de Gambrinus.
Good beer.
It's a beautiful friggin'
One
beer.
of the 5. That's the one.
Yeah.
2 of the 5 actually.
You gotta get it with,
It's 2 of the 5.
you gotta get it with the European label, though.
You got yeah, absolutely.
Or you can be down at the aforementioned Green Bench Fooder for Thought and drink it off the cask they had sent over.
Sure.
For that charity event, which is a fantastic charity event.
I can't believe I missed it that day.
Oh, that was a beautiful.
We were there with Jim
thing.
that day, right? That was the day we were there, Jim.
No, this Green Bench down in Tampa.
No. In Spite and Dival.
No, it wasn't there. No, this was Green Bench in Tampa every year. The
Green
night
Bench in Tampa. Oh, never mind. Okay,
Green Bench. The night before Hunapoo, they have a charity event called Fooder for Thought.
Yes.
Okay, and it's really just a ton of great sour beer. Bring your Rolaids. You're going to have indigestion by the time you're done with this. And just remember, there you go, Center River. And just remember, you're pre-gaming friggin' Hunapoo the night before. just saying, but it's still you still just drink everything you get your hands on. And
for those of you at home that are playing along, this is the 6th show in a row that Dave has made it a nod to him pre-gaming Hunapoo in some form or
maybe
another.
not 6 in a row. Maybe I probably mentioned it 3 times.
Probably more like 7 of the last 9.
There you go.
Number 2, again, a Cantillon. And one of my favorite styles, hands down, Creek 100% Lambic Bio. And so anytime that Cantillon, they'll give you the sub-style 100% Lambic.
Right.
And if there's bio at the end, or if there's not bio at the end, get bio every time.
Mm-hmm.
Bio is usually better. I don't know what the difference is. I'll have to look it up one of these days. But Creek, the Morello cherries thrown into a Lambic is just a special, special thing. And I love it. My number one, and believe it or not, it's not a Cantillon. And again, this was a Hunapoo where I was online for something, and one guy had asked me, well, where are you going afterwards? So I said, well, we're thinking about going here. We're thinking about going here. Because you need to go to a place called Mr. Dunderbox. And so at the end of Hunapoo, Augie couldn't remember where the hell he wanted to go. He couldn't remember the name. So I told him about this. And so we wound up going to Mr. Dunderbox. He was getting a little hangry.
Mentions, by the way.
Yeah, we're up to 2. Don't say it the third time. And he's getting a bit hangry because it's a little ways on, it's still in Tampa, but it's kind of the outskirts. We go in there and the place is decked out like it's, like it's Oktoberfest, and just the smell of the food, because it's also a restaurant, it was fantastic.
Okay.
And the guy that was online, he's behind the bar, who told me about the place, found out he's actually the owner. It's like, nice. But him and the person we won't mention a third time start to talking, and we start talking about Cantillon because they had Yuns on tap. But he mentioned that when it came to now, okay, Matt, I'm going to ask you here pronunciation: goose or goose?
Goose.
Goose.
So goose. There's goza, which is totally
Goza. That I know. And then there's gozer, which is from.
I always pronounced it goose.
Goose. Okay.
Yeah.
And goza is from.
I always pronounce it goose too. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure. So goose, and he said as good as Cantillon's goose is, he maintained that Dry Fontainen's was better.
Interesting.
And he brought a bottle out. He opened it up. We drank it, and it was really, really hard to argue with him. And this is perhaps one of my favorite Belgians ever. Was the Dry Fontainen. Is it Oude Goose or Oude Goose?
Oude Goose.
Oude Goose, right?
Oude Goose.
Oud in whatever is it Belgian? I guess or French.
Flemish.
Flemish. It means old.
Yeah. So Oud equals alt.
That means an old brown ale.
That's me. Alt.
Oud equals alt.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just absolutely fantastic. The best part about it is, when the bill came, the bottle was not on the tab.
Nice.
That's
Whoa.
And
very nice.
Now, if you ever get to Tampa, and I think it's in the northeast section of Tampa, I do recommend Mr. Dunderbox. Their beer list is fantastic, and the German food, you can't beat it. And they actually started a couple of years after that, started brewing their own German styles.
Right.
Now, have you had any Fantôme?
Now, so John and I talked prior about Fantôme, and the reason Fantôme would not really appear on anybody's top 3 list is because you can get a bottle from the same run that is out of this world, blows your mind, and it's an orgasmic experience, and then get another bottle from the same run and go, the fuck's this shit?
Yeah.
Because they're all over the place.
It's
and
the luck of the draw with that, yeah.
When they are on, they make some of the best beer on the planet, right? Yeah. Their liquid is beyond belief when it's on. Yep. When something happened, like maybe they didn't clean that one bottle properly, or that bottle cap, something happened, or I don't know what goes on from run to run.
And it wasn't just one bottle out of any. There was more good than bad, but there was more than one bad. So there's who knows what it is. Who knows what it is, but yeah.
So
wild fermentation, yeah, exactly. So
it's what gets into the bottle. So when you take a Fantôme and you get Fantôme at their best, they rival any friggin' brewery in Belgium, and they will be at the top. It's the fact that you don't have the consistency is why they're probably not appearing on any of our lists.
Sure, absolutely.
One of the coolest interviews I ever saw was with Jean Deroy, who's from Cantillon. And they basically were asking, they're like, okay, so as head brewer, and he's like, I'm going to stop you right there. He goes, I am a steward of the beer. He's like, this beer is going to do whatever the hell it wants.
Right.
And he's like, there's driving a car and you turn left and the car goes left, and he goes, and there's riding a horse. And he's like, we pull on the reins and try to get it to go left. That doesn't guarantee it goes left. You know, and you're like,
Perfect.
I was like, that is literally the best analogy I've ever heard.
Great analogy.
Fermentation, like hands down.
Great analogy. Absolutely.
It is a living process. And, you know, that's the thing with these, you know, places that have been there for hundreds of years, the specific microflora and fauna that they have in the rafters, you know, you kind of get a consistent, you know, reign of the same things. Sure. But it doesn't guarantee that everything's always going to be the same. So, you know. I've
got a great so I told a story once about Weyerbacher, and it came from one of their reps. And it was how Blithering Idiot came around. But the same rep told a story about when he got to go to Cantillon. And he had a friend who was a huge Cantillon fan. And he said, just bring me anything from the brewery. So he gets to go out to Cantillon. He gets there. And you've got this, it's pristine. The cobwebs, they don't sweep out the cobwebs. They don't change anything.
You can't, because
they're wiping dust off the bottles. You know, it's like that's the way to do it,
because they're supposed to be there. So he goes through. You know, they've got a brewery cat, all of that, because this cat wandered in. They're afraid to move the cat.
Was that a line from a song? They got a brewery cat, all of that. Can't move the cat because it's all of that.
We need to get back to Jesse Ferguson and have him produce that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ooh, that was close. That was close right there.
Yeah, we got some rap going there, but the
that was close to the third time right there.
It was close. It was 1 degree of separation on that one.
1 degree of separation. So they go through the whole thing, and he's looking for something he can take. He finally talks to the guy giving him the tour. He's like, "Look, I got a friend who's a huge Cantillon fan. Is there anything you can give me, like a loose bolt, a scrap piece of paper, anything from the brewery you can give me to take back to this guy?" And the guy looks at him straight face, goes, "You can take the cat."
That's great. There you go.
All right. So now we're on to John's 3.
Right, my 3. Here we go. All right. Number 1, number 3. I'm going to go in reverse, obviously, that we've been doing.
As we did.
My number 3, I'll continue with the Cantillons. Cantillon, you know what? I've had a bunch of Cantillons, and, just going back in my memory and my Untapped and just looking at my notes, because that helps. It does. Cuvée, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, Cuvée Saint Gillois. Am I saying that right? Gilloise.
I think it's Gilloy. And I took
Gilloise.
6 years of French.
I said in the beginning. Well, the thing is though, it's not really French. It's
Flemish.
It's Flemish. It's Flemish.
It's also some places speak French. Some places speak
German,
Dutch, and some places speak Flemish. Well, it's actually all 3.
It's all
Belgian,
3.
And it's a mixture of all 3.
Yeah, Belgium is split into like 2, 3
Cuvée
areas.
Saint Gillois.
I said in the beginning we were gonna pronounce everything horribly tonight.
Horribly,
I said that in the beginning.
So, Matt, am I close, or do you even know? Or
That's
so Cuvée Saint Gillois. It's Champions is the.
We know which one it is. So.
We know which one it is. So
that's
my number 3. That's such a. I mean, that's
Gilloise.
Gilloise. There you go.
Let's go Midwestern with it.
Gilloise.
Gilloise.
The Champions one. That's my favorite. That's
we are the champions.
Edges out.
Brian's
Gambrinus,
the champion.
This is true. But,
so it's Cuvée de Brian.
Cuvée de Brian. There you go. But that one, that Cantillon is my number 3. That's my number 3. Number 2 has been mentioned. Dave drank it. It was on Brian's list. Trappist Roquefort, number 10. That's my number 2. Absolutely. And as you see, it's such a good Belgian quad. It's insane. I mean, I literally could drink that beer every day.
You know how fast I drink.
You got to savor it.
I'm savoring.
Have to savor it.
And the nose feel.
Yeah. It's so good. And I've drank it on the show. I drank it on the show with. I drank it on the show with somebody that I will not say whose name it is.
No, you did, and we won't say his name.
I won't say his name because it'll be 3.
Matt, say nose feel. Say nose feel.
There you go, Eric. That was for you.
Now I can sleep. I can sleep tonight.
And my number 1 beer is the one that got edged out by St. Bernardus 12 from Matt, My all-time favorite,
And
St. Bernardus Matt is probably it could be right up there too. It literally could. It could have replaced any of those, but any of the 3 and the 2. But I wanted to get Cantillon in there. I wanted to get a quad in there. But Guten Carolus from Head Anchor, Cuvée Van de Kaiser Blue, Blau, Imperial Dark, Blau. Yeah, that is
pronouncing that properly.
By far my all-time number one German. Belgian, Belgian. It's a Belgian strong dark ale. It's my all-time number one favorite Belgian beer. It's, such a good beer.
The only thing that sucks is that there's like so many amazing beers that weren't even mentioned.
We can go through.
Not one of us mentioned West Letteren. Not one of us mentioned West Letteren.
Well, I did, but the better version.
The better version of West Letteren.
There are so many honorable mentions because at one point I think I brought
and the easier to get version too. Not only the better version.
On one of your
Tropa Carmelite.
Carmelite, yes. Matt, on the first show you were on, I think I did mention that mustard beer that I like.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember it right now. That's a fantastic beer. Golden Drac wasn't mentioned. I love Golden Drac.
Yep,
it was mentioned but not in the list. Orval. And I hate to say it, if anyone has never had a Belgian beer, I think Orval is one of the best examples to give to them because it's got so much going on in terms of the bottle conditioning
and that touch of Brett,
the dryness, the touch of Brett. It's like the thing is with Belgium is the Disneyland of beer. It really is.
It really is. It really
Germany had rules. Belgium was like, do whatever you want, throw different stuff, try different things. And that's why you have such a wide range from the Trappists.
Well, you talk about wide range, you've got to throw out there De Schoof.
Yeah.
I mean, De Schoof has done stuff. They've done a Scottish ale.
Yeah.
They've got their IPA. Mm-hmm. They've got a winter beer. De Schoof is all over the place. They've put out some fantastic stuff. So there's
and Castile is in the equation.
Castile.
Nobody mentioned Quack. Quack's amazing.
Quack's great. Castile. One of my chalices is actually a Castile chalice.
Yeah.
It's got the capsule holding up the chalice.
Like the De Schoof, the niche Schoof is
one
of my favorite winter beers.
And Stoff Hendrick.
Chef Hendricks is so good. Yeah,
Hendrick makes amazing stuff.
Yep.
Going all the way back to the Dahl, I mean, Still Knock.
Oh, Still Knocked is fantastic. And their import stout. Mm-hmm. Their import stout. Anybody ever gets a Dodoli import stout, make sure you have the bottle in the sink. This bottle geysers. Okay, as active as Orval was when I poured it. Yeah. It's nothing compared to the import stout.
Don't take the cap completely off. Just crack it a little, and then a little more,
and make sure
a little more.
And I'm not saying be near the sink.
We didn't mention the sink. We didn't mention a single double the whole day either. By the way,
we really didn't.
That's right.
We really didn't. No.
It's crazy to me, but
then you also have like
you know what? I mean, just throw in there. I mean, as simple and easy as it is to get, but Chimay Red is
actually
so good. All the Chimays are delicious.
Sunsets and Grand Reserve, they're all fantastic.
Grand Reserve is the quad is amazing, and even the Pater's beer, the
Doré.
Yeah.
And let's throw a hey out to Duvel.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the first Belgian beers that came to America.
Mm-hmm.
And oh crap, I've got I think 4 of their art glasses.
Yep.
So the patronage of the art is fantastic. And another one that you've got to give honorable mention to because it's one of the first beers I ever drank at Cloverleaf. And it's just a beautiful name for a beer is Delirium Tremens.
Yep. Delirium.
Sure. Yeah. Delirium makes
Delirium one of the best beer names ever. Let's just
absolutely.
And the fact they put pink elephants on the damn label.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, Delirium Tremens is actually the medical term for the shakes you get from alcohol withdrawal.
That's right. Exactly.
And that's amazing. That's
such a great beer name. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So some stats on Belgium. 304 active breweries in Belgium. Belgium is slightly smaller than South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And Belgians drink 68 liters of beer each year. Which is
I thought you were going to say day, but
yeah.
I don't blame them.
That puts them in what?
With that good beer there, I don't blame them either.
but that's down from 200 a year in 1900.
They still don't compare to the Czechs. The Czechs are still number one.
Oh yeah.
But
By far.
Per capita, absolutely.
the point is, they have so many breweries in a space that's not that large.
No, it's not. Not at all.
South Carolina, I don't know how many breweries they have, but I guarantee you it's not 100. It's not 300.
There's not 384 breweries in South Carolina.
So much different stuff, though, too, because you have Cantillon, and then you have the Trappist, and then and actually, I hate to say it, a beer that nobody's even talking about is Celis White.
Oh God, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
It's like you have to understand that the wit beer style is a Belgian thing, and
but Celis is from Texas now, right?
Well,
and you're talking about Hoegaarden.
Yeah, so he made the original recipe for Hoegaarden, and
well, not the original recipe. He resurrected a recipe that had gotten lost and died.
He stole it.
He didn't steal
Borrowed.
it. He resurrected.
Resurrected.
It didn't exist as a style, and then he brought it up, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, this beer's amazing!"
Yeah.
So actually, here's
it was an older style.
Yes, I know.
Do you like wit beer, Brian?
Oh yeah, I got it.
Then you like spiced beer. I'm sorry, my friend.
Oh, I know.
There you go.
You're right. You're right, though. But actually, I don't love it. I still don't love it, right? So I do like it. Yeah. And then there's just some spices that I just don't like.
Well, yeah.
We would be remiss to not give a nod to some of the better breweries in the United States that are doing amazing Belgian beers.
New Belgium.
I don't know if you guys can read it, but that's
Ommegang.
Yeah, amazing. And their wit. I mean, you know what? My two of my favorite Ommegangs is our Three Philosophers. That quad is just amazing, and wit.
It's a quad mixed with a cream.
Right.
But my favorite wit is actually Allagash White.
Allagash
White. Yeah, that's yeah.
Fantastic.
Allagash makes great beer.
Let's not forget Lost Abbey.
Lost Abbey's making great beer.
You can read that. It's bright.
Yeah, North Coast
Prankster is such a good beer. Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, these are all breweries that I consider pulling out of my celery.
We definitely won't say the name a third time, but there's a lot of good Belgian beer.
Just don't say the first name. You're good.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. That's a very, very, very good.
This is
you could say the name of the beer. Yeah, you can say.
You say the name of the brewery, just not the owner.
Yeah. So this is a quad.
Just say the first name. That's all.
I believe it's a quad with like a pomegranate. Like
right. Yeah. Right.
Something instead. So it's interesting because it plays the same role of that dark fruit note, but instead of plum and raisin, you get this kind of weirder pomegranate.
Sure.
So it's really creative, and this one's aged in, I think, brandy barrels. So
that's very nice. And then they've brewed. In the past they've brewed. What was the name of the beer? It was the Belgian
Gilded Lily.
Gilded Lily, yeah, Gilded Lily. Yes,
that was
the Trupful, yeah, the Belgian Trupful.
So
it was a Belgian triple, aged on white truffles. Yeah,
that took home a trophy from the first Hunapu that Carton was at.
I have talked to he who will not be named about putting mushrooms in beers before. So
there you go.
Absolutely.
And then another one that I know Brian loves, as far as American breweries that are making Belgian styles, OEC.
Sure.
Yes.
Brian's huge. I think
their sours are great.
You're a founding member of the.
Now you have the whole American wild ale category, which is basically.
Well, Tom.
Americans making lambics, but you can't call it lambic because you
can't call them a lambic. Yeah, no.
So it's called American wild ale.
Tom Trancone's brewery.
Yeah, sure. Muckraker doing great job.
Muckraker's got they've got a double cool ship up there.
Yeah,
and we're talking about all these. Most of what we mentioned have been Northeast breweries and New Jersey breweries. Just think about how many we don't know that are out there.
Well, that's why we brought up.
Speaking of that,
Lost Abbey and. God, yes.
Have you guys ever gone to South Florida?
Yes.
Barrel of Monks. So Barrel of Monks is a Belgian-only brewery. They only make Belgian styles. They make everything from a Trappist and a wit. They make double, single, quad. They make stouts. They make some sours. They make some fantastic stuff. So that's the point we are in the craft beer, where you can actually have craft breweries that their whole shtick or their whole spiel is to be fully Belgian.
Sure.
Brewery.
Sure, absolutely.
Super cool.
Actually,
So
the maple bacon coffee porter.
Barrel of Monks, right there. Barrel of Monks.
We poured right next to them. I was pouring for Carton at the time. We poured right next to them and drank everything that they would pour for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
amazing. Amazing.
I don't think New Jersey's quite ready for it yet. Damn.
I don't know. Tom's doing okay
Well,
up there.
you know what? I mean, there's.
Well,
you know what?
I mean, like the Barrel Monks though. Like I feel like the American Wild Ale. You obviously you have Tom and you have the other one that's moving away.
Right.
To Pennsylvania.
I'm going to take a pit stop here for a second.
Yeah, but that I think you can do full time, but I don't think New Jersey's really ready for a Belgian only brewery.
Well, let me ask you: when you say when you say that, you're not talking about the drinkers themselves. You're talking about just overall a Belgian only brewery.
I'm just saying it from a business sense. I'm saying people love Belgian beer, but I don't think if you let it sucks. But again, going all the way back to that conversation, you have to have an IPA on top.
You do.
IPAs pay your bills. That's just the way it is. So
exactly. And you know what? To be quite honest with you, though, if you think about it, I mean, you do any of us? I mean, do you really know? And maybe you do. Maybe you do. Do you really know the state of craft beer in Florida overall, like you do New Jersey? Because they might not necessarily drinker-wise be ready for that, but they're able to get the beer out, and it's into the community, and it's to the people that.
Well, it's again. I feel like it's a little bit different situation because they are such an unsaturated market there in Florida. Like this guy just wanted to open a Belgian only brewery, and they're like, that's the thing is they're the only brewery within maybe like a 20-minute radius.
Sure.
So
I got you.
We have a ton of population here, but it's other than. Again, you can go out to places where you don't really want to put a brewery, I guess, and be more than 20 minutes away from everyone else.
Sure,
but
you could pick
I'm
a
just
place.
saying, as a business plan, I don't. It's weird. I also think Florida is very socially different, and it's
but Matt, let's take Muckraker as an example, right? I mean, they moved out to.
But I don't see them
kind of the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, they do something.
Right? No, they're not. They're not. Oh, of course, they're doing sours. But I'm just comparing it, right? So sours have been able to exist 5 years ago?
No.
Would have you been able
Maybe
to
a
open
little
that
longer than 5 years ago? But yeah, I get your point. Yeah.
10 years ago, whatever, right? Would he have been able to open that brewery? 5 years earlier than he did.
I mean, I'm just saying, like Denver, that has 300 breweries within a 50-minute radius.
Right.
They have Belgian only breweries. They have English all cask pull ale only friggin' breweries. So you can
German only breweries. Bierstadt is doing an amazing job out there.
Oh, German lager only basically. You can specialize in that market because there's so many breweries.
But what I'm saying is though things change.
It's not that situation.
No, I know, but things do change. Things do evolve. 5 years. If Tom tried to open that souring facility 5 years earlier, maybe that wouldn't have been the best time, right?
He is also brewing just. I mean, what's the ratio? I mean, he doesn't put any beer out in market. I mean, everything's out of the brewery, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware.
As far as Tom goes, it's everything's
I
out.
Mean, my favorite Belgian only brewery.
But you have to be able to survive on that, right?
My favorite Belgian only brewery in the U.S. is Funkworks in
Funkworks is amazing.
Funkworks makes amazing,
really good,
amazing stuff. But
I really do.
I think if you tried to open Funkworks in New Jersey, I don't think you'd be successful.
It depends on it depends on the scale you opened it up and where you were distributing to. If you were just doing it as a tap room only, no, it's not going to survive. So, but if you're opening up what they have out there here, might that kind of a thing. So, but that was my point in Florida. It depends on the scale. It depends on the scale.
Well, there's a lot of factors. I don't think New Jersey's ready as much as I would love to see it as a Belgian only brewery. Unfortunately,
because even Muckraker's not Belgian only.
I wasn't talking about them being Belgian only.
I'm not talking about like the sours. I'm talking really like Barrel Monks, where it's Trappist, it's
specific Trappist beers and so forth and so on. Yeah,
that was my point. Yeah,
right.
So you're pulling up a comment here.
Just pulling up a comment really quick. Eric Cohen, our resident Nosefeel
There's
inventor,
Nosefeel.
said, "Hi, Brian. Hi, John." And then he said, "Hi, Matt, even though I don't actually know you," but didn't say hi to Dave.
And we've met.
Eric.
This is like when Natalie said hi to everybody except you.
Except me, and this. Holy shit! That's right. That's John. Right.
The first time was that the Matt and Sergio show, or
that was the Matt and Sergio show? Yeah, it was Matt and Sergio show.
Said hi to Matt. Said hi to
Sergio and Matt show. I think he kind of carried the show.
All right, it was a Sergio and Matt.
But you were in the Starburst.
But you're here right now. So.
I am a return guest, so I don't know.
There you go. He said, "Hi, Dave. Now that I know your name." There you go. That's true. You've Eric, I just want to point out one fact. You've actually drank beer with him at Brian's house before. I just want to point that fact out to you.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
I know that's true. That's how I know Eric. So Eric has been mentioned on the show
quite often, actually.
At least
almost every show.
Yeah. Well, anytime we say nose feel and somebody brings up why you're saying nose feel.
That is a mention of Eric. Yeah. We were trying to get that term.
I'm going to make a bold statement.
Go for it.
Do you want to know what my actual favorite Belgian style beer is? Because it's not from Belgium.
Go for it. What is it?
It's Cane's Anniversary Quad. They're bourbon and rye barrel aged anniversary quad. And
which anniversary?
Any one of them.
Any one of them.
Their anniversary quad every year.
That's your favorite.
Starting at what day? Because their first one was not a rye quad.
No. The first one was bourbon barrel only, but then subsequent years have been mixtures of bourbon and rye barrel quad.
Right. Starting at what?
Every year they do different percentages and things like that.
Yeah, but they didn't start doing that until the 4th or 5th anniversary because they didn't do it for the first
third.
two.
I think third.
Third. Yeah, they started mixing the rye in third, but I mean, it does. All of them are just fantastic. I don't have any 365 yet. I think have one bottle of 730 left, and I have all the ones up to that. To what it is.
I have a few too, Matt. We need to just have a Belgian, a Cane Belgian day.
Do a whole.
I am very happy with that.
Take a ride down, and we'll figure it out.
Hey, Brian, will you offer up your deck for that?
I will offer.
Of course.
Okay, there you go. And Eric just said he may have been drunk. There you go. So
you didn't arrive drunk, but we sent you home drunk.
There you go. So anyway, yeah. Hey, you know what? This has been a great show. I have to say, and I also want to point out the fact that this has also been right now at this particular point the longest show we've done.
Yes. Yeah, right now.
We have never gone over 2 hours. We're at 2 hours and almost 2 minutes right now.
We've come very close.
We've come close. No, we within a few minutes. I mean, it's not like we blew it away by 20 minutes. It's only been a few minutes. We've done an hour and 57 before.
We need to talk to Tom Troncone, and we need to make him have an alt brewing.
Alt brewing.
You know what? We need to talk to Tom, and it needs to be.
Is that back to you calling him? Is that back to you calling him a brother?
No. That's not. That's not a
old alt. It's the
Uda Bruin.
Yeah.
Old brown beer, but
old brown beer. Yeah.
I thought you're talking about an old Brian over here.
Alt brown. No, we'll call it an old brown. No, we need to do that. We need to talk to Tom, and we need to. And we need to be there when it's brewed.
Duchess Brian, if you want, but
Duchess Brian. There you go. Duchess the Altschul.
Yeah,
there you go. Kiss the ring.
There you go.
So before we break, Eric texted me and said, "So when do you guys start taking your clothes off?"
Oh well,
after we sign off the air. So, but in any event, no, we need to make that happen, though, Matt. We need to make that. We need to talk to Tom.
I'll send you a Venmo link first.
There you go. No, it's an OnlyFans link. OnlyFans. Right. OnlyFans. No, we need to talk to Tom. We need to make that happen. It needs to be
Lager Room pay-per-view.
A lager, yeah. No, it needs to be a Lager Room collab, and we need to brew it with him. Primarily Matt, but the four of us.
And I
can jump in there.
Right, and yeah, we need to do an Uda Bruin. I think that would be a good idea. So, Brian, you're up there more than the other three of us are. So make that happen.
No one's up there more than Gene, though.
Well, this is true.
Gene's there a little bit more than.
I haven't been up there yet, and I feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I love Tom. He's a great dude. So I need to make it up there.
All right.
I mean, just say wait, Matt.
COVID kind of took a year and a half off of me going to a lot of breweries. So
I'll meet you over there, Matt.
So we'll meet up there one day.
Well, why don't we do this? We'll go up, see Tom, and then we'll hang out on Brian's deck, have some beers.
Works for me.
Sounds like a plan.
And bring Eric.
On that note, folks, we will wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday. It actually says Tuesday right there. But I don't know why I was thinking Wednesday.
Because you're
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
It's your birthday.
Wednesday is my birthday. Tomorrow is my birthday. This is true. Every Tuesday. And I'll be doing a damn sports podcast on my birthday. So that's
And I'll be drinking one of these in your honor.
You'll be drinking a Heineken in my honor. Thank you very much. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not
I gotta
quite
work
sure
for
what to
my
say
birthday,
about
too.
that.
You got to drink it right over the toilet because then you're going to be doing this. And
Just right out.
Right
It
over
goes
the-
in and out, in and out. I got
You know what terrifies me right now? We've been on the air for 2 hours. This is still cold.
Oh,
That's scary.
How is
at
that
least,
possible?
well, at least light hasn't hit it.
This is true. Mental
Well-
note, if you're going to buy a Heineken, buy a can.
It's
That's
hit
all.
this.
There you go.
I
That's
will
true.
say that Heineken over there in Amsterdam is 1,000 times better than.
Of course it is, because it's right out of the tank. Of course it is. Anything
And they have
right.
the Heineken Zero, which comes out at literally like 32 degrees, and you're like, "Oh, this is so cold, I can barely taste it. This is delicious." The whole tap is covered in ice, literally.
Ice. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday at 6:30. Tuesday at 6:30. And for those of you that want to just listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Matt, Brian, thank you for coming on the show with us today.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
This was a
We
blast.
had this plan for weeks, and we appreciate you sticking to that plan.
He's lying.
No. We'll.
And anybody who is a fan of both sides of the Lager Room, tune in tomorrow and troll the hell out of John.
Good
Yes.
idea.
Yeah.
Troll me. And tomorrow on the sports podcast, we'll actually be doing our top 15. We didn't do the whole 32
15?
teams. Our top 15. No,
10's
our
not enough.
Hold on. Our top 15 mock draft picks for the draft, which is on Thursday.
Like
And
a conglomerate of all of you pick 15, or you?
No, each of us. But we're not going to take time out from each of us. We're going to throw up the lists, and then we're going to refer back to them next week to see how close any of us got to what actually happened in the draft. But we're also going to be doing. Last week we did the top Mets by position, and we did a first team and a second team. We're doing the same thing with the Yankees this week. So top Yankees by position.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Brian.
It's going to be a hard one.
Let's
But
see.
we're doing it. So.
Who would
Cheater.
win between the top Mets and the top Yankees?
It depends. It depends on which of the top Yankees we pick. And
I
which
don't
of
like
the top Mets.
competition, remember?
Brian doesn't like
Yeah, he
competition,
just
so I can't pick.
Just wins everything. As a Mets
I
fan,
think the Yankees might have it. I don't
I was
know.
gonna say, as a Mets fan, I was to say the Yankees are gonna edge out the Mets there because they've just their pocketbooks are a lot deeper.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, you know what though? Top Mets and top Yankees. If you had those actual teams, it'd probably be a damn close game. You know, I really, really would. When you come right down to it, I mean, you're talking about the top players on each team. It's not
It
like
depends on how much Mickey Mantle had to drink the night.
this is true. This is true. Well, you're assuming Mickey Mantle is on the top of the list. Of course he is, but you're assuming he is.
Of course.
Well,
You're assuming he had plenty to drink the night before.
yeah, he's probably not my starting center fielder, to be fair. So,
He's not
And-
really. Who would be your starting center fielder? Give it.
well, there's that other guy who hit in 56 ridiculous games in a row or whatever.
You're talking about Joe,
Yeah,
Jolton Joe,
who'd you pick? Joe or
Mr.
Mick?
DiMaggio.
I have to go DiMaggio.
You have to go to DiMaggio, would you?
So you're taking the drunk equation out of it, where the Mets still have the cocaine equation involved.
Yeah.
Well,
with
that
their-
depends. That depends on who you're putting in.
Wait,
field.
can you
With-
put
with
Darryl
one of your
Strawberry on
starting
both
pitchers
teams
and
to
your
play
right
each
fielder?
other? And Doc Gooden for that
Hey,
matter.
you can also. I mean, hey, people. Yankee fans may also make a case for Bernie Williams too, but that's another story.
No,
I mean, what
that-
did you just
think about that. You could have Doc Gooden pitching to Darryl Strawberry both ways.
Both ways, exactly.
Correct.
You could do that. Well, let's put it this way: Doc Gooden is one of the
I could
Mets.
do that.
Doc Gooden is one of the Mets' best pitchers. I don't think Doc Gooden is one of the Yankees' best.
I don't think
pitchers.
Doc Gooden makes that Yankees team. All right.
So,
I don't think Strawberry makes the Yankees team.
not so much. Let's see: Darryl
You're-
Strawberry in right field.
Right.
Darryl Strawberry in right field. Babe Ruth in right field. I mean,
Yeah.
let's-
It's a rough one.
Well, let's not diss him. Babe Ruth on the mound.
this is true.
But he didn't do that for the Yankees.
He didn't really.
No, he didn't do it for the Yankees.
That was the Red Sox too. So anyway, all right. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. Thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Drink a lot of beer. Drink responsibly. Enjoy.
Your birthday, John.
And thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And we will talk to you soon, guys. Take care. Cheers.
Guys, hang out.
Yeah, guys, hang out. Cheers, guys.
Bye, everyone else.